Very good afternoon to you and welcome to Kenny Park here in Athenry for this All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship clash between Galway and near neighbours at Clare. My name is Killian Whelan and over the next couple of hours we'll be bringing you the best of the action from a sun-soaked Galway venue. I'm joined this weekend by Elaine Aylward. Welcome back to us, Elaine, and glorious sunshine you bring.
Yeah, I came back and brought the sunshine to Galway. What more could you ask?
It definitely, I haven't travelled from the east of the country, a little bit warmer here, no doubt, and I would imagine that will all have an impact, as the whole week has had an impact, I'd imagine, on training. Yeah,
it's definitely something we're not used to, I suppose, in preparation in Ireland for championship games. And while the weather is good this week, as your recovery from last weekend and preparation for this weekend would have been to the foremost of all the teams' preparations for the week.
Galway, as we know already, have a significant victory over them. Clare, a fine final quarter against Kilkenny the last day, but of course the Cats had enough in gear that day. So, Clare coming here knowing they want to get something out of it to probably, if they were to get a victory here, it would really set a cat amongst the pigeons, because it's a Galway team that are jinking and jiving again, jigging around with their team, everything. They don't seem to be really settled, even though they're still getting results.
Yeah, I think Clare have a great opportunity here today. It really is a championship game for them. Lose and they're probably gone out of the championship and win, and they throw the group wide open again. So look, they'll be buoyed by a big performance last weekend against Kilkenny. Alright, it was more than a moral victory. I think, they really out-hurled Kilkenny at times and that, and as you said, just didn't quite get the result in the end. Kilkenny's experience shining through. But look, they came up here in the league earlier in the year and really rattled Galway in that league game for a long period of time, and again just didn't get the results. So they're a team that are there and they're well capable of matching these teams, and I suppose they just need to get a result, and today would be the day to do it.
A Clare team as well that have the likes of Hare, O'Dea, and then Chloe Murray, who of course would all those three would get on any team in the country again. So they're in a central spine there, so there will be big factors in this game, you'd imagine.
Yeah, they were huge players and had huge games last week against Kilkenny. That central spine of the defence was so impressive, I thought, at time and time again. Probably a little bit concerning was their free count and the frees that they gave away to Kilkenny, which really left Kilkenny in the game last weekend. So I'm sure that's something Ger and his management team would have spoken about during the week, and it'll be something they'll be looking to cut down on today to try and keep Galway to, forcing them to take their shots from play rather than free shots at the goal.
Galway just out here behind us then, again their performance last weekend was, doing the job. Aoife Donoghue, a big star performance from her. Carrie Dolan, bit of an injury. We believe it's going to be a 2-week stoppage, so they probably feel they can get by Clare without her here today.
Yeah, look, I suppose Galway are carrying a couple of injuries, picked up a couple towards the end of the league there as well, so they're carrying a couple into the championship, and it's maybe forced their hand a little bit to rejig things at the back. But again, as you said, changes again. They had 5 changes, I think, last weekend from the league final a few weeks previously, and 4 changes again today. So, getting a chance, I suppose, to try out players, but I suppose at the end of the day they need to get a result here today, so that will be the big aim for today.
Looking at it then, if I was to put your head on the block, who do you think is going to come out here?
Yeah, look, I expect a massive game from Clare. As I said, I think their championship hopes are on the line here today. A win and they can throw the group open. But look, it's hard to look past Galway. They've been there or thereabouts for the past couple of years, and I think there's a real focus on them at the moment towards getting back to knockout stages of championship, and I think that experience will probably tell today.
The views then of Elaine Aylward ahead of this game between Galway and Clare. Throw-in here at Kenny Park in Athenry is at 4 o'clock. We're going to just break briefly here from the pitch, and we'll be hearing from both camps after this. Ger O'Connell, the Clare manager. Ger, you didn't have too far to travel today. Gorgeous sunshine and everything, but I would imagine buoyed by your closing stages performance against Kilkenny the last day. Hope to get something out today.
Yeah, look, it's not an easy task come down here today, but the girls are in good form, and yeah, we took a lot of positives out of last week. Still disappointed with the result, but yeah, we took our positives out of it. Try to work on things, the negative side of things, I suppose. But yeah, looking for a good performance today.
And what would that performance be? Obviously, a win is going to be something that you obviously are going to target.
So we have to win. Simple as that, stay in championship. It is what it is. We got Kilkenny and Galway in our group, and you have to beat one of them. So we tried our best last week. I just think we need to get the basics right today. I know the girls, the hunger and the desire is unquestionable, but I just think just get the basics right, especially Galway will put us under serious pressure. So just to be able to win that ball under pressure and be able to use it, and take our chances when we get them.
For you in recent years though, Jerry, you have put it up to the sides that you probably would class in the top 3. So, I'm sure you're showing to those girls out there today that have the courage of their convictions.
We have. Look, it's just you need to be beating them. It's grand getting a pat in the back, but we want to get wins. That's why the girls are training 4 or 5 days a week. it's gone to that level now where, look, at this level you have to win games, and today we know we have to win, but we still need to perform and play within our structures and how we do things, and if we do that, we'll be seriously competitive.
Wish you the best of luck, Charles.
Thanks a million. Thank you.
And welcome back to Kenny Park here in Athenry. Just to let you know that Colin Murray didn't make himself available for an interview prior to the game, so hopefully we'll hear from him at the end of this encounter. With both teams out, and as you can see there on camera, Clare into the town end of the grounds here, just having a poke around and getting tuned in. As we heard there from Gerard Connell, you know, he probably put down a bit of a challenge to his side in some way, Elaine, in that interview, that you know, it's all well and good coming up and giving good performances against maybe the top three. It's about time you started beating them.
Yeah, and I think they probably would have been disappointed last weekend. I think they probably felt there was an opportunity there to beat Kilkenny. You know, they had them in their home patch and, you know, hurled really well and kept within a couple of points. Them hurled some really good stuff during that game, but ultimately couldn't get the victory. And I suppose at the end of the day, it is a results business. And, you know, as I said, moral victories are all good and good performances are fine, but ultimately if you want to play a part in the knockout end of the championships, you have to get the results. And I suppose when opportunities present themselves against the likes of the Kilkennys and the Galways of this world, you have to be able to take them, and that would have been a disappointment, I suppose, for Clare last weekend.
No doubt about it. Speaking of results there, just to give you some of the scores then in elsewhere in Group 3, the round 2 clash today. Kilkenny, well, they were rattled a little bit by Westmeath in the first half and found themselves a few points down at half time and even into the start of the second half, but once Miriam Walsh goaled and put Kilkenny in front, they ran out 217 to 111 victors over what would credit a gallant Westmeath team. Latest score in Group 1 then, with the other Group 1 clash to come tomorrow, of course, and we'll be carrying that live from McDonagh Park in Nina. The Wexford lead Offaly by 4-10 to 14 points, and at half time in Group 2 it is Cork 1-7 down 5 points. The other Group 2 encounter to get underway at 5 o'clock, but we'll be underway here in the next couple of minutes. So what we'll do is we'll run down through the teams there and give you clearance on that with regards to both sides, because Clare have made 2 changes, and we begin with the home side, and Galway line out with Sarah Healy of St Thomas's in goal. All-star, of course, from last year. Shauna Healy of Ardrahan is joined by her teammate Siobhan Gardner in the full back line, and sandwich in between and returning is Sarah Dervin, the captain from Mulla. In the half-back line, it's Emma Helbert who returns of Balladurheen. Niamh Hanafi then moving from a midfield position into centre-back from Oranmore Mary, and Dervla Higgins wears the number 7 shirt from Athenry. At centre field, it's another new pairing. Anne-Marie Starr of Killimer and Niamh Kilkenny returns from Pierce's. Niamh McGrath of Sarsfields, Sarah Spellman of Sarsfields, and Aoife Donoghue, who scored 2 goals against Westmeath the last day, is of course from Mulla. And the full forward line made up of Siobhan McGrath, who returns from Sarsfields, Ailish O'Reilly of Oranmore Mary, and Catherine Finnerty of Mount Bellew Moyla. Then turning to the Clare side, And we can see them there on screen. They have made 2 changes then to their side that you can see there on screen. It'll line up with Doireann Murphy of Clare Castle in goal, Susan Daly of Scariff Gunlow, Claire Hare, the captain of Ina Kilnamona, and Ciara Grogan of Clooney Quinn will be the full back line. The half back line sees 1 change. Alana Ryan of Kilkeeshan is wearing 5. Niamh D of Kilmaley wears 6. And coming in wearing number 19 is Roisin McMahon, and she is from Newmarket on Fergus. She replaces Sinead Conlon from Tulla. At centre field then it's Orla Duggan of Clooney Quinn, and Zian Spillane of Fecal Killanena will wear the number 9 shirt. There's another change in the half forward line. Aoife Keane will wear 10 of Ina Kilnamona. Maura McGrath comes in wearing number 18 from 6 Mile Bridge. She replaces Anya O'Loughlin from Trua Clonlara, and out wearing the number 12 shirt is Becky Foley from Trua Clonlara. And the full forward line, Emer Kelly of Trua Clonlara, 6 Mile Bridge's Chloe Murray got 11 points against Kilkenny the last day, and Robin Conway from Fecal Killanena. As we pause here then for Oran Naveen. Naveen then, as we've 3 minutes away, and just as we get going here, Elaine, you know, I suppose from a Galway point of view, hard to see 3 of your top players on the sideline here at the moment. Heather Cunha, as we know, recovering from the injury, had the operation. Teenie Cormacan not lining out either, even though she's named in the subs, and of course Carrie Dolan listed in the subs, but looks like she has a little bit of an injury.
Yeah, you know, a lot of crutches and a lot of limps, I suppose, on that sideline there for Galway, and their injuries really are mounting up. You know, Orla McGrath obviously had to go off. She's there on the sideline as well, had to go off in that league semi-final, having picked up a shoulder injury. So, you know, as you said, as the road goes on, the championship rolls on, they seem to be picking up a few injuries. Now look, we've always spoken, I suppose, about Galway's strong bench, and that'll certainly be tested here today. You know, in the conditions, you're certainly going to be looking at using, you know, 20 players plus if you have to, because given the conditions, the last 15 minutes are going to be crucial. But to be missing those kind of players from your panel is certainly a blow to Cathal Murray. And, you know, last questions, I suppose, of the rest of the panel.
They beat Westmeath, of course, 3-16 to 1-5. They've made 5 changes in personnel. There's a few positional switches and everything. You know, there's been a lot of talk maybe in recent months that, you know, Galway don't seem settled. They're still getting results, but they don't seem settled.
Yeah, and I think it's something I would have thought a little bit about them last year maybe as well, is that they nearly had an embarrassment of riches at stages last year, and I felt sometimes that the girls that were on the field were constantly trying to make something brilliant happen to justify their place on the team, and maybe looking to the bench and seeing the players that they were possibly keeping off the team. And, you know, obviously they're forced to make a couple of changes with the injuries and stuff they're carrying at the moment, but still, as you said, they've yet really to nail down a centre back there and to settle on a half back line, I suppose, that they seem to be completely happy with. And, you know, whether there's positional changes, whether that's testing out, maybe looking further down the line at the likes of maybe Cork, Kilkenny, Tipperary in knockout championship. But really, you know, the game here today, I suppose, is the game to win. They've obviously gone with what they feel is the best 6 backs and in their best positions. But, you know, as you said, a little bit unsettling, and maybe within the camp, all right, they're comfortable enough and confident enough in what's happening. But certainly from the outside, it does look a little bit unsettled for Galway.
And Clare, of course, might, you know, seize on an opportunity like that, especially when you see, you know, a free taker like Carrie Dolan not going to be on the field, and we know she does an awful lot off the ball and can be, as I mentioned, I think a little bit of a wasp to opponents sometimes, you know, that she's just so busy and is not afraid to be physical either. Yeah,
no, she's a key player for Galway, you know, from play, and obviously from place balls goes without saying. But, you know, I think in the past couple of years physically she's really matured into a fantastic half forward line, and as you said, always a danger in the half forward line there. So obviously with her absence, Clare will be hoping to capitalise on that and to punish Galway. Look, I think they realise that possibly they left an opportunity slip last weekend against Kilkenny, that possibly Kilkenny were there for the taking. So, you know, if they've focused on anything during the week and learned anything from last week's game, it's that when these kind of opportunities present themselves, that they need to take them, and today is really the day to do it, to keep their championship hopes alive.
Liz Dempsey is the official from Kilkenny, about to throw the ball in here. 24 degrees, it's registering on my phone anyway, here in Kenny Park in Athenry. And players sneaking in from all angles. Not sure Liz will be overly happy. She's trying to get the watches on, and they're nearly on top of one another when this ball is played in. It's a bit of a clash of the ash here already, and it looks like trying to roll lifted there was Emer Kelly, but the ball is on the ground. Bit of a ruck. Foreman, there's Galway players dropped that ball, but it's eventually picked up by Emma Helbert, and she drives it forward, but there's nobody there in that position, and it's picked up by the opposite number 5, Alana Ryan, driving it down the wing as Clare will attack the scoreboard end. Trying to get onto that ball was Emer Kelly, but it's been cut out by Galway, but being returned by Aoife Keane. She's sending it towards the post, but she's pulled it to the right and wide. Early chance there. There is a bit of a breeze though coming from that end of the ground, and that will be a factor too.
Yeah, and changes all over in that Galway defence that we spoke about there a few minutes ago. Emma Helbert has gone to centre back. Anne-Marie Starr looks to have dropped back possibly to left half back. I'm just trying to see, Niamh Hannafy has gone to the middle of the field. So yeah, definitely changes to what Galway has published as the team, and we'll bring you those maybe as we go along.
Try and keep an eye on them, all right. 2 changes for Clare, as we mentioned. Maura McGrath and Roisin McMahon are in for Sinead Conlon and Anya O'Loughlin. There's a free won by Clare, and who else is going to come out and take this? Only, of course, Chloe Murray, who notched up double figures against Kilkenny the last day. So opportunity then for her, but breeze in her face a little bit. Good little crowd after coming in here as well, as strike taken on by Murray, but it's going to drop on the edge of the square. It hops over everybody with Dervin in the right place, lets the ball hop and takes it in and gives it up towards her clubmate Eva Donoghue. Donoghue now looking around her up along the wing, but looks to cut inside. Decent enough ball, but it was well read there by O'Dea. Giving the ball over then to Ryan. Ryan going to play it left-handed over to the far side. Could have been a nice take there by Becky Foley. She steps inside. Got a point the last day, looking to play a ball in, but Dervin back, sitting back, and it looks like Clare looking to drop out here. And you don't really want to leave Sarah Dervin as the free player.
No, and possibly I think Chloe Murray was still just making her way back in, maybe from around the middle of the field from that last play. She looks to have gone in straight to full forward there again, and maybe, Clare just a little bit lacking, not realising that she wasn't back in there yet, and allowing Dervin, as you said, plenty of free space in there.
Orla Duggan tried to get that ball towards Spillane, but the ball has been won here by Becky Foley, but a little bit much of asking Roisin McMahon to try and get to that ball.
Yeah, the intention was right, but just the pass was a little bit off, and as you said, asked a lot of Roisin McMahon. And Clare are putting some good passages of play together.
Ball played then by Anne-Marie Starr, giving it to Shauna Healy inside to Kilkenny. Kilkenny though tried to shovel that across, and it's cut out by the player wearing 18. That's Maura McGrath. Opportunity now here for Aoife Keane. Keane though being cut away there by Sarah Dervin, back in the team and being cheered on here by the Galway Intermediates, who played Carlow just before this game. A big win there for the Galway Intermediates, and Dervin plays it out to the middle. Nice little pop ball out into the hand of Hannafy now. Time to look around, play this ball long down into the half forward position. Ball breaking away from Sarah Spellman, and it's cut out there and sent long by O'Dea down over to the far side, but well read coming out on the break. Lovely charge there, bit of a touch on Dervla Higgins, playing on her home pitch of course. Ball across field now, Ailish O'Reilly trying to be in there, and this ball breaks off for McGrath. Ball could still roll, lift up into her hand here for Turkin to turn inside. Siobhan McGrath came on the last day, starting today, looking to get inside short and giving it back to Mullins. Aoife Donoghue put it over the bar. Lovely bit of play there. You'd have to credit Siobhan McGrath. She made that something, and I suppose Aoife Donoghue continuing to run, taking the chance, and there for the pop pass.
Yeah, and you can see how Aoife Donoghue is so good at getting on the scoreboard and getting those goals. A superb run off the shoulder of Siobhan McGrath there, and McGrath had all the hard work done, and the pop pass to Donoghue then just to finish it. And for all Clare's play now, it's actually Galway that find themselves a point to the good.
Ball goes over the head of a few players there, and it may be trying to get an opportunity to roll, lift it up as Aoife Keane, but the ball still on the deck there. Anne-Marie Starr trying to make herself big and cumbersome there, and also being helped up by Catherine Finnerty. Eventually though, it's won by Niamh Hannafy. Gives it off now to the other Niamh. That's Kilkenny playing the ball in towards the forward line, but it's well read and cut out there. Taking it forward now for Clare is their number 5 Alana Ryan. And then off to O'Dea, and the ball is on the stick now, and she's still going. Niamh O'Dea, the Kilmaley player, looking to play it across. Decent ball here now to Maura McGrath, settling for 45 metres out, up and over the bar. No, gone to the right and wide. She's saying it's a score. The umpire in no doubt though.
Yeah, what a super run by Niamh O'Dea through the heart of the Galway defence, and left none other than Eve Kilkenny in her wake going past her. A super run, and then played a really, really good ball off to Maura McGrath, and unfortunately for her, the shot just to the right and wide.
Looked like a little bit of a dunt in the back over there on Alana Ryan. Eventually the free given, and it's going to be a free from the far sideline. Gerard O'Connell giving the instructions there. You probably can pick him up on camera. 5 minutes gone. Aoife Donoghue, the first scorer of the game. And she's the one that has Galway ahead of Clare here. Maury then with this chance, 65 metres out. Good strike on it, but it looks like it's tailing to the right and it's dropping away. And Clare can't afford to give up these chances, even though they are playing into that breeze.
Yeah, and they're playing well, and creating the chances. But I think that's just their third wide. And like I said beforehand, the day you're going to beat one of the top 3 teams, you really need to be taking those chances. So, those frees are long distance out. Chloe's obviously a very accomplished free taker, but maybe you'd be better off just to play them in and keep the ball in play and try and create something inside.
Short pucko was taken by Galway, but the position is being coughed up, but trying to make it awkward there. Kilkenny was trying to get in, and also was Niamh McGrath, but Clare have it, and under no pressure now we're able to build out here, flicking the ball over here to Roisin McMahon. Lost control of it the first time and then all over and trying to get in there, and disruptor was the Galway number 8, Anne-Marie Starr, looking to take this ball in. Good bit of play there by Aoife Keane, giving it now to Zian Spillane. Spillane keeping it on the end of the hurl, throws the ball back here, giving it to Keane. Keane still going out, looking to get inside the attentions of Finnerty. Overplayed the ball, says Liz Dempsey, and she had a couple of opportunities maybe to get that ball away and just took it a couple of steps too far.
Yeah, and I think she was lucky to get away with the initial play that she had out here from Roisin McMahon. She took a couple of extra steps with that one, got away with it, but Clare really playing in a tight kind of triangle there and probably created a lot of that hassle themselves, allowed Galway the chance to get numbers back and to crowd them out, and eventually force the overcarry and the free.
Free then taken by Galway down into the corner, looking for a bit of movement out of Siobhan McGrath. Ball by O'Dea, she's just shepherding towards the line, but McGrath got in there, got a little bit of a touch on it, and O'Dea had to make up her mind and go in and win that ball. Looking to come out with it, flicks it on, gives it to her centre back Susan Daly, the Scarf Gonlow player, playing it down along the wing, tight to the sideline, and Anne-Marie Starr uses her body well there to shepherd that ball out to the line. It's going to be a Galway sideline cut, and Niamh Hannafy has the ball in her hand, taking it from Colin Murray there. Wondering does anyone else want it, but nobody else does, and she's going to have to take this sideline cut, not far from us here. We're right behind her, about 5 yards away or thereabouts, and she's taking this, plays the ball into the middle where no one is on the point score so far. Aoife Donoghue looking to play a low ball in towards McGrath, but the ball is cut out there by the Clare defence. Digging down and doing very well there was Ciara Grogan, steps out of that tackle well and gives it off to her number 5, Alana Ryan. Ryan down into the half-forward position where a heavy touch there, and Becky Foley felt the effects of the challenge and the coming together there. Ball down into the corner where it looks like having loads of time is Clare here. Clare though has about to play the ball out, and Liz Dempsey decides hold the play up because it was coming down that side of the field again where Becky Foley was picking up that knock, and you'd have to say, Elaine, it just was a situation, 3 players maybe involved, and she ended up being the meat in the sandwich as such.
Yeah, just a blind tackle. I think all eyes on the ball and a couple of players going for it, as you said, just a clash of shoulders, and doesn't look to be anything too serious, like to the head area or anything. I'd say maybe probably just a good rattle at the moment, but obviously Liz Dempsey doing the correct thing, stopping the play just to ensure that there's no head injury there, and obviously to allow time for treatment to the Clare player. But superb defence at the back there from Clare in the last few minutes. Ciara Grogan did really, really well on that first ball out in front of McGrath in there, and won her ball really well. And again, Clare here on that occasion in front of Eilish O'Reilly. So look, they look to be controlling things at the back, probably just failing to create anything up front at the moment. And you feel the longer that they allow Galway into this game without getting on the scoreboard themselves, the bigger the task it's going to be for them.
Full-time score in Group 1. It is Wexford 4-10 Offaly 15 points as this ball is sent in by the Galway forwards, and trying to hold on to that ball and come out. But he looked like she worked that free, I'd have to say.
Yeah, used all her experience there, and she's had a fine start to the game as well as she did last week against Kilkenny. And again, the quick free which we see in Camogie this year then allowed Clare on the attack.
Dropping this ball in, dangerous ball, breaks off Dervin, got to be wary Healy, but it's back there winning it. Dervla Higgins with her face to goal. She did that very well and gets the ball out here towards Emma Hilbert. If Clare had maybe committed someone that could have caused problems there, as Healy plays this ball out well. Good first touch by the Galway seniors, and the intermediates are quite much in praise with their applause here, but the ball breaks, and it's O'Dea again looking to play this ball off now. McMahon looking to come on, gets away from her, scoops it out here though, and does that very, very well as they maintain possession. But Clare maybe doing just a little bit too much there. Susan Daly trying to be a little bit too clever. Eventually gets this ball away from McMahon. Liz Dempsey quite happy for the ball to continue. Down, narrowing the gap against Cork. It's 1-8 to 7 points in that game up in Newry. It's already finished. Kilkenny 217 to 111 against Westmeath. Dublin and Waterford getting underway at 5 o'clock. But here at the moment, it's still a score for Galway, no score for Clare, and there's 10 minutes gone. And there's no quarter being asked or given out here.
No, superb passage of play there again. And again, Clare, really solid in defence there. Nivo D obviously central to that whole thing there, but worked the ball out really, really well through Roisin McMahon on through the middle of the field. And, Becky Foley then back up, recovered from her injury, won a great free there, and a chance now maybe for Chloe Morey. This one a little bit closer in and certainly well within her range.
Bit of attention being given to a Galway player as this is going on. I think it's Anne-Marie Starr. Morey not going to progress too close because the ball is right beside Anne-Marie Starr and she's just letting her get the attention. But someone of the capabilities of Chloe Morey, she's had 2 shots at goal already and they haven't worked out for her, so this one getting her in line. Stands to this strike. She's right in line with the left hand upright. That breeze there might be a little bit of a factor. We're directly in line with this as well. As you can see the camera from Owen, that looks good, very, very good, and it's up and over the bar. Good score from Chloe Morey, and just I think what Clare deserve.
Yeah, certainly. I was just going to say what Clare deserve for the dominance they've had out around the middle of the field. They've probably shared equal possession with Galway, maybe even had a little bit more of it and just hadn't made a count on the scoreboard, but they're off the mark now and hopefully they'll push on again.
Of course, we know Galway were league finalists this year. They beat Clare in round 1, but Clare gave them the fill of it in those early stages. If I remember rightly from that game, eventually worked out with Galway getting the goals that saw them over the line.
Yeah, that's why I felt Clare would have no fear coming here today. As we said, put in a big performance last weekend, but came up here at the start of the league and asked massive questions of Galway early in the year, and back after a long break and everything. But Clare certainly have the players and have the potential to be contesting the big games, and I don't think they'll have any fear of Galway here today.
No, and it's suiting Clare maybe here at the moment. Galway not getting into a rhythm. Long ball from Morey again, then dropping in, and the dangerous ball got to be behind it, and it's batted away there. And Higgins trying to get down now and protect this ball away from Kelly, looking to get the ball out. Referee says that there was a foul committed there, and you'd have to again credit Dervla Higgins. She's made 2 important defensive interceptions. Yeah,
Galway have been good at the back there. They've had a lot of play, to be fair to them. Clare have asked a lot of questions, got a lot of ball in there, but it's the Galway backs who are dominant in there at the minute with Sarah Dervin in the centre, and as you said, Dervin Higgins sweeping up beside her then.
Sarah Healy then with the long free ball over to the far side. Aoife Donoghue coming in there, charging in strong, but a credit, great bit of play there by Nivo D. Shortens the grip, plays a nice little ball to Kelly. Kelly looking to get away from the attentions of Sarah Healy. Thought she was being fouled there, and she's still going, in fairness. Kelly looking to shorten the grip now, pop a ball in. It's a dangerous ball, it's batted away by Healy, but Liz Dempsey calling back for a free in, and I think she could have given it an awful lot earlier, but ball was knocked in there. But I don't know which one. I don't know whether it's Shauna Healy she's calling a Siobhan Gardner, because I think both of them fouled Emer Kelly at different stages there.
Yeah, she had the advantage, I think, signalled early and left to develop maybe, and gave Clare the chance to get the score away. And as you said, a dangerous ball dropping in, and Sarah Healy's crossbar did well to control it, but Liz Dempsey then called back for the original free. And great work by Emer Kelly out around the middle there to collect that ball. And again at the back, Nivo D did really, really well to win that ball ahead of Aoife Donoghue and knocked it down ahead of herself, collected it really well along the sideline and created that Clare attack.
Chloe Morey, a little bit experienced, didn't gain any ground, but took the ball in field a little bit, probably just to shorten the angle a little bit, as she has the strike at the post here towards that left hand upright, and it's gone over the bar. It was tight to that left hand upright, but it's over the bar from Chloe Morey, and she puts Clare in front here.
Yeah, and as we said, look, the Clare have been creating the chances. They've been fouled, they've had the frees, and the last couple now have just been in probably a little bit more of a scoreable position for Chloe.
Hellebert now playing this ball out, and it's a good little take there by Hannafy. Hannafy looking to advance now. Are Galway going to make Clare pay? Maybe they've woken up the line a little bit. Ball is played inside, but Clare there. But Donoghue's there. She's looking to advance all, playing it one-handed. Ball is kicked away though from Alana Ryan. Ball is still there for Galway point of view, but O'Dee's in there trying to win it also. Kira Grogan in there as well. Ball is won by Galway. Donuts back out here. Opportunity to have a shot at the post, and there it is. It's a fine score from Galway. Never give up on that ball. Clare looked to be in charge of it, but it's a ball then that's eventually put over the bar by Galway's number 15, Catherine Finnerty.
Yeah, super response from Galway, and look what a run from Niamh Hannafy down the centre of that Clare attack and forced Niamh O'Dea maybe to come out and her throw the pass away, but the Galway full forward line worked really, really well to recycle it, to keep the ball in there and eventually get that pop pass, and a great response to Clare taking the lead.
It's the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship Group 3 Round 2 encounter between Galway and Clare. Galway win, they're into the quarter-finals. Clare, well, I suppose then they're facing that last game in the group and hoping that they don't get caught up in relegation scenarios. But if they win, well, they might open up this group that little bit, as Kilkenny getting on this ball now, taking on a bit of a run, looking to jink and jive, look to play it over Niamh O'Dea there. I would have thought maybe that there might have been a free in there for Niamh, and eventually it is called back. And Liz Dempsey just take a note there of the foul that was committed. And a chance here then for Galway to go back in front. And the free without Carrie Dolan, of course, who's listed at number 25, but we're definitely not going to see her. The ball goes over the bar from Siobhan McGrath.
Yeah, an easy free for her starting off there, and you just feel Clare now need to get a hand on this puck out maybe and get a bit of possession back. Galway just look like they're starting to move through the gears a little bit and look like they could try to create something up front.
All poked out, then the drops in the middle, gotten away from the hand there of Anne-Marie Starr. Ball breaks and trying to get in there and dig it out was Orla Duggan, but ball is on the ground trying to get in there. Spillane as well, but it's Galway that have won it, and then it's Clare to come in with Becky Foley knocking the ball on, putting a bit of pressure there on Dervla Higgins, but Higgins holds the hurl strong, but it's eventually Clare that win it back, and it's good little slalom run here by Robin Conway playing the ball inside. It might work out. Here's Kelly looking to get away from Healy, shortening the grip, but it's into the hand of Sarah Dervin, but Liz Dempsey said she was being fouled. And definitely you would feel Emer Kelly is causing problems for the Galway full back line, and they got to get her a bit more of the ball.
Yeah, super hand from Emer there, did really well to take that ball under savage pressure from Shauna Healy and drew the free and looked at if she could get away from her. She was going to try and create something inside. She certainly is a big player for Clare, and good strong runner and good hand on her as well. Clare need to get her on more ball, and she's out now around the half forward line now rather than the corner forward where she started, so certainly she's an option for them from there.
Katrina Mackey has added 2 points for Cork. They lead 1-10-7 in that game against Down. Wexford have already beaten Offaly, and Kilkenny have beaten Westmeath, as Chloe Murray levels things up here again after 18 minutes. It's 3 frees from her. She got double figures the last day against Kilkenny, and she's well capable of finding that black spot on the crossbar. 3 points apiece then in Kenny Park here in Athenry as the returning Sarah Dervin sends this ball into the middle. Going to be taken by Hannafy. Drops from her hand, but she gets it the second time basket. Looking to pop the ball across here. Don't think it was meant for the number 15, Catherine Finnerty, but the ball has got across the field now, and it's going to be a race here with Ailish O'Reilly and Clare here. Riley wins the race and looking to slim right, left, spins back onto right now, looking to come inside, shoves off here, plays the ball back out to Finnerty. Finnerty though maybe have distracted a little bit there by the hurl of McGrath. Ball has worked inside though. Could be a chance here for Hannafy, well able to take her own score, but she doesn't get a great shot off at that, and it goes out to the right and wide. Referee is concurring with the linesman that it is a water break now, and it's 18 minutes gone here, and very much anyone's game here still.
Absolutely, still a very 50-50 game, as I said. Level scores, 3 points apiece, and scores scarce to come by, I suppose. Clare dependent on Chloe Murray up front for the 3 frees, but credit to them, the frees have all come from good chances that Clare have created up there, and they have asked questions in there. On the other hand, I suppose Aoife Dunn, who I think Niamh McGrath and Niamh Hannafy really coming into it up front there at the moment. Niamh Hannafy has had some good runs there. She's named obviously at 6, playing more out there in the middle of the field. They're certainly centre forward, and Niamh O'Dea maybe sitting off for a little bit just to create a bit of cover back there at the Clare defence. And at the other end then I suppose that leaves Sarah Dervin free at the far end and she's working from those sharp puck outs, and Galway getting good possession from there and looking to build straight from the back.
Yeah, just looking at Carl Murray went in on the back of that scrum there, and just having a look at a few notes has been taken here by some of the Galway backroom team, but Clare could hear some of their backroom team as well urging Gerard Connell to get through the message to girls that they just need to relax a little bit.
Yeah, I suppose, it's a big occasion for Clare coming up here today, knowing that their championship hopes really are on the line and that they really do need to get a win today to keep themselves in contention. So small little bit of pressure, I suppose. You are coming up to Galway, you're playing the team that were beaten in this year's league final, last year's All-Ireland final, and were the All-Ireland champions the year before that. So, huge expectations on Clare, and maybe just failing to settle a little bit into their own game. And when they have hurled in patches, they have hurled really, really well and have created some good flow in hurling, especially Niamh O'D coming from the back, and a lot of what's good about what Clare is doing is coming from her.
So just seeing the ice buckets and everything that's out there at the moment, everything being utilised out of a kitchen somewhere in an effort to stay cool. An awful lot of players obviously keeping the back of the neck cool. Yeah,
I suppose anything just to cool yourself down when you get the couple of extra minutes there to, the water breaks, love them or hate them. I think we're all glad of them the last couple of weeks in GAA circles, and certainly the length of time of them has certainly been stretched, I think, to the full, just to give players the chance to cool down and regulate the body temperature again before they go for the next 15 minutes.
Well, there's ice buckets and there's toolboxes and everything being used by the Galway crew there, but the puck out to come then after that wide from Niamh Hannafy. It's going to come from Clare's Darren Murphy from the famed Clare Castle Club, home of the Magpies, as this puck out comes then from Darren Murphy, dropping down on the head of Maura McGrath, and the ball breaks in favour of Orla Duggan, and the Clooney Quinn player looking to play a nice little ball inside, might work out, but Dervin, in fairness, out in front of Maury there, and the ball breaks then, and it's going to be picked up by Galway's defensive unit. That includes, of course, Emma Hellebert. But the ball is given away and it's turned over here by Becky Foley, looking to play a ball inside, but probably asking a little bit much of herself to get that ball in there. Well, maybe there was a closer attention as Dervin looks up the field and looks to pop a pass, but it's too close to the sideline, and it's nearly closer to the photographers who are along the line than it was to the players. And it's going to be a sideline cut for Clare that's going to be taken by Roisin McMahon. Apologies if you're viewing there and it's obscured. Very little we can do. Sometimes you'd like to bring an angle grinder down here in Athenry just to take down the girders for the duration. But you can just about see Roisin McMahon there down on the sideline. And it's going to keep our cameraman Luke and Owen busy here today. And our producer Dave busy as well, and hopping from one camera to the other, but hopefully not spoiling your action as Galway look to come on the attack. But O'D in the pocket again. And she's sitting back there at the moment and making a little bit of hay back there.
Yeah, she certainly is, and as I said, she's orchestrating all that's good about Clare back there, but what it's probably doing maybe is robbing Clare up front a little bit, and we've seen on occasion where there's been an extra Galway player at the back here and they've been allowed to build from there. So while Niamh O'D is sitting back there, it's probably allowing Galway to dominate maybe a little bit up front.
Aoife Keane might turn it into something here. Maury now looking to jink left and right and spins very quickly, fires a shot towards the post. Umpire though, it's gone to the right and wide, and that to me was a chance, no doubt about it. And I think Clare have the Galway half back line a little bit on the ropes here.
Yeah, certainly when Clare win their own puck outs, they're certainly able to create options up front, and Chloe Murray there with a great take and a spin, and unfortunately for her it just drifted wide. But certainly I saw some of the Galway full back line maybe having a little word with some of the selectors there at half time, just a few questions maybe about how they're going to manage this Clare full forward line. But as we said up front, Emer Kelly, Chloe Murray and Robin Conway has yet to kind of come into it, but certainly have the potential to cause trouble in there for Galway.
Well, there's one tussle that's definitely going on. I don't know if Dave is listening to me. You might be able to keep an eye on the Clare number 13 and Shauna Healy, the Galway number 2, at some point in the next few minutes. And she at the moment is on the far side of the field, but there is an interesting tussle going on between the two of them. We might be able to get a close-up shot off camera, off play maybe in the next few minutes, because I do know that we're getting to know each other while that ball was coming down the field there.
Yeah, certainly, and Shauna is one of the players I think that was pulled aside maybe by the Galway management at half-time just to try and maybe get a handle on Emer Kelly in the way that she was playing, but certainly plenty of movement up front from the Clare forwards, and that always asks questions of the Galway backs.
Oh, now looks like there's a little bit of worry here for Galway. Aoife Donoghue looks to be in a little bit of a bother, has the boot and the sock off, and I'm sure Galway have to be worried because their injuries are definitely mounting.
Yeah, and Aoife went down quick enough kind of away from the play, but the boot and the sock were quick to come off, so obviously an immediate injury there, but hope from a Galway point of view that it's hopefully not too serious. As you said, their injuries mounting up, and they certainly could do without losing a player of the calibre of Aoife Donoghue.
Yeah, well, Aoife Donoghue at the moment is being worked on by both physio and doctor, it would seem. And they're the two that we're talking about, Emer Kelly and Sean Healy. And fairness, I would say Kelly might just have the nod on that battle at the moment.
Yeah, and it's a real case of where you go, I go now. I think for the next 40 or 50 minutes they'll be seeing a lot of one another. And from a cornerback's point of view, I suppose the last thing they want to see is a forward like Emer Kelly moving around the field as she is. And she's popped up at left corner forward, right half forward. She's now over on the left wing, and I think she's been given free rein in that Clare front six, so she's going to cover as much ground as she needs to. And as we said before, a really strong runner as well, and really capable of taking a score if she gets that chance.
Ciara Murphy, Rebecca Henley and Noreen Cohen going for a little bit of a jog there, maybe in preparation, but Aoife Donoghue is up and going anyway, so whatever needed to happen there, could be just a blister in some ways, but it did look serious there for a moment as the ball is cleared on the far side by Emma Hellebert from the Ballaghaderreen club. Ball knocked up long in the direction of Sarah Spellman. Ball breaks away from her, but it's picked up by Finnerty. Finnerty looking to play the ball inside. Ball though drops away, and Clare looked to have read it, but it's picked away, and it's Kilkenny. One player you don't maybe want to get onto a break, looking to step inside OD, but in credit Alana Ryan is there to be able to help out, and seeing Spillane in there as well, looking to get this ball away. Ball is taken though by Dervla Higgins on the run. Getting a good round of applause here from the intermediates who've stayed for this encounter after their victory over Carlow. Ball is played forward. McMahon is trying to get back there. Ball looking to come out and keep it going. Eilish O'Reilly very tight to the sideline. O'Reilly looked to got dunked in the back, and Liz Dempsey said no doubt about it. And Eilish O'Reilly was clever there, I think. Yeah,
knew probably that she was under pressure even to roll lift the ball from there. She had a lot of pressure from the Clare backs on her back, and bided her time and waited for the push to come in, and in fairness to her, she made the most of it when it did come in, but there was no doubt, and Liz Dempsey quick to blow the free and give the chance now to Siobhan McGrath.
Siobhan McGrath then with this free, of course, no Carrie Dolan on the field of play for Galway, so it is McGrath that's taking these free. She got a very easy one after 16 minutes. This now a bit more of a test.
Yeah, definitely. Every free taker, I suppose, wants the handy one to start off with, maybe just to get the confidence up, and Siobhan certainly got that one. This one certainly a lot more testing from the left-hand sideline here now.
So McGrath comes up to this, got a good height on it as she angled it in. No, to the left and wide, just didn't get enough across the goal, and it is Galway's second wide of the game. And really, you just feel Galway haven't got to the pitch of this game at all.
No, and credit the Clare defence for that. Galway have looked to get a couple of passes of play together, similar to that last passage there on the far side of the field, but the Clare defence have so strong, and they've come out with ball, and what I like about it is they're playing clever ball out. It's not just a haphazard clearance just to get rid of the ball. It's building up to something bigger.
Ball over across, but it's hopping off the surface so quick out there as well. And, Galway have been guilty of overcooking some of the passes into that corner for Siobhan McGrath, asking an awful lot of her.
Yeah, they've tried to spread the play, obviously aware that maybe Niamh O'Dea is holding the centre and Claire Hay behind her, a strong central spine to that Clare defence. So Galway may be trying to spray it a little bit and use their pace on the wings. But, as you said, ball flying on that surface out there today, and it has beaten the Clare or the Galway forwards on occasion.
Katrina Mackey having a big game for Cork. They lead now 113-9 into closing stages of that encounter with Down Up in Park. Essler, ball played inside by Niamh Kilkenny. Dangerous ball. O'Reilly looking to spin and go. O'Reilly might be able to hold off the attentions of two players. Going to have a shot, but the ball breaks away. Still there. It's all taken away somehow by the Clare goalkeeper, Darren Murphy. There was an opportunity for Aoife Donoghue. Where did she come out of to get the strike?
Popped up on the end of that pass when it had been blocked, but credit to Darren Murphy. What a save from off the ground, point blank. Did so well to get that ball away and out of danger.
Everyone was waiting for the net to bulge, and what a way for Darren Murphy to just prove her worth back there and maybe to turn into something. Here's that battle we're talking about, and it's Healy that comes out on top against Emer Kelly, playing the ball forward here now. Galway looking to make Clare pay now. Niamh McGrath popping this ball in, but that's a terrible waste, you'd have to see. And I'm looking inside, there's 6 Galway players inside, and Niamh McGrath went for a Hail Mary effort.
Yeah, Niamh McGrath in a load of space out the field, probably panicked a little bit, realised her shot was half on and didn't maybe look up and play the ball inside. I saw Eilish Riley with her hands up from here and Siobhan McGrath on the other side. Plenty of options up there, but Clare will be happy to have got away with that last passage of play and really could do with a score now just to kick on.
It remains on the scoreboard then, 3 points apiece, a bit like a chess game here at the moment. Clare, you would feel, having the best of it. Galway, to me, just not the Galway that we may be used to, free thrown, but Clare definitely giving them the fill of it as Galway come on the attack here now, looking to spray a ball down into the corner. That seems to be the ball, Elaine, all the time, but I have to say it isn't working.
Hasn't worked up to this point anyway. They've been well beaten there, but
Donoghue looking to come in along the end line, going to have a strike across, it's batted away again by Darren Murphy. Not sure that maybe goal opportunity from there was on, but Aoife Donoghue was trying to play that ball across over on the far side. Looked like Niamh McGrath got a bit of it done that time. It's going to be a free in. Clare, a little bit maybe criminal, just maybe commentators, of course the ball wasn't working, of course Donoghue turns it into something, but there's no way she should have got in along the end line like that.
No, certainly not. Shouldn't have got away to get a shot away like that, having come in along the end line. Clare had plenty of time to get the numbers back, and credit Darren Murphy in the goal again, blocked that one and got it out of danger, and Niamh O'Dea there to pick it up and to get the ball out to clearance. But pressure not relieved, and Galway now with a chance from a sideline, and we certainly know what some of the Galway players are capable of from these sidelines. So this is a free actually, isn't it? It's a free, on the far side of the field for Siobhan McGrath. So again, not an easy one, but a chance again for Galway, I suppose.
Her sister was fouled, and Siobhan is going to take it. Of course, Orla part of the setup as well, but Orla carrying a shoulder injury, and I don't know how much more we're going to see of Orla this summer. But linesman telling the Galway official is he just to keep away from the action there at the moment, as this free going to be taken in by Siobhan McGrath. 28 minutes gone, 4 points to 3. Gets good height on it as she got it curled in enough. The umpires are right there beside it. No, it's gone to the left and wide. And this surely, you feel, if Clare were to take a chance here, it's there for them.
Absolutely. I said they've conceded a couple of frees, but they've been difficult frees for Galway to convert, and they haven't converted them. So it's given Clare the chance, and you just feel now they need to just get something on the scoreboard themselves as a bit of a benefit for all their hard work.
Dervla Higgins just decided, let's get this out of here, and took it away straight to the sideline. And lady, of course, that knows this pitch quite well.
Yeah, and credit her, she's hopping off the ground there today. She's mad to get in on the action. Has had a couple of bursting runs forward, and looks a player really to be on the top for a game.
Roisin McMahon then to take this sideline cut right down here in front of us. And she gets a lovely sideline down towards Emer Kelly now, taking on, of course, All-Star Shauna Healy. It's out over the sideline. Where we sit, we can't directly see that sideline, so we're going to rely on Luke's camera work to be able to show us that Dervla Higgins is going to take this sideline cut. Matching up for it there, Aoife Keane being tracked off by Niamh Hannafy. Ball is cut inside and it's knocked down by Maura McGrath. Gets it at the second time. Vaskin falls back. Well done, Maura McGrath, getting that ball back into the hands of Becky Foley. Going to have a strike off. This could work into something. Dervin knocks it down. Maury's in there as well. Dervin looks like she might have held her off illegally. Maury is still there, looking to spin left and right. Has a shot over the bar. Credit Chloe Maury. Fine score.
Super score in there, and it had to do so well to hold off Sarah Dervin and the rest of the Galway backs that were coming into her. But great ball out the field from Clare to work it into that position, and you just feel if they could get a little bit more ball into Chloe Maury in there, she's certainly capable of creating scores. So
Clare lead here by 4 points to 3, giving Galway the feel of it here at the moment. Ball played into the middle, ball breaking away from a number of players, including Susan Daly there as she was marking Sarah Spellman. Ball breaks off from Clare point of view, and Clare all of a sudden have the bit between the teeth. Charging forward now is their number 8, Orla Duggan, playing the ball inside. It just gets away from Maury. Dervin wasn't going to let her in the second time. Ball, short ball, played out by Healy, giving it to Hellebert. Hellebert, wing ball now, out here it goes towards Aoife Donoghue. Hops off the helmet there of the Clare number 8 or number 6, Niamh O'Dea. O'Dea reckons she's been fouled. Ball is played inside, going to be taken forward there by Maura McGrath. Ball breaks, appealing. Spillane looking to get in there, take it away from Anne-Marie Starr. McMahon in there as well, trying to kick it out. Opportunity McGrath trying to play it out here towards O'Dea. O'Dea's on the deck, being tackled by Kilkenny and being tackled by Ailish O'Reilly. O'Reilly gets up looking to come forward, is tripped on that ball. Clare might have felt they would have had a free early on doors there. I would have felt the lane, but eventually a free for Galway. Yeah, Clare certainly a ball they'll be disappointed to have lost. Had got it into their hand on a couple of occasions, but credit the Galway forwards. They packed them in, got in around them, forced the overcarry on a couple of occasions, and then eventually the free when they did turn it over. So Clare have been strong going forward, but when they're turned back like that, they've given away a couple of frees, and I suppose it's something they did against Kilkenny last week as well, and maybe in more scoreable positions than Siobhan McGrath has got to date, but this one certainly within her range. Where we sit right in line with this, Siobhan McGrath catches this well. It looks like it has the accuracy, but it doesn't have the distance, and it's Spillane that taking this ball, and they're looking to move it out, giving it off here now to Maura McGrath again. Ball is on the deck, and she's been challenged by McGrath. Got it across there to win back the free after dropping short. Took it out over the sideline though, and Gerard Connell is absolutely on top of the ground out there. He's poking every ball with the girls and urging them on. Urging them on, and urging Liz Dempsey on, I think, on occasion there as well. But certainly that's a big one.
Clare done a lot of hard work, didn't get the clearance in, gave away the free then dropped short and they had to work hard to clear it again, so it's a massive victory for them to get that one out.
Ball played inside, looking to get forward with it. Maura McGrath kicked it forward, taken by Aoife Keane, had to look inside to see who was near, but all a little bit too close here now, here towards the sideline. Real championship fair, there's no doubt about that here, Elaine. Ball is won by Clare though. Orla Duggan looking to take it forward. Catherine Finnerty is tracking her, plays a short ball across. Here's Kelly now against Healy. Healy going to try and win this one. Kelly wins it, Healy gets a lovely flick, have to say, and then crash into the back of Kelly, and all of a sudden the pendulum has just swung maybe Healy's way.
Yeah, Healy getting the important little flicks in just there, and credit to Galway, they've got the back and they're always the first player back into the hook. Even the last ball that dropped between Chloe Morey and Sarah Dervin in there was a Galway player, was the third player in to get the clearance. Just feel maybe Clare need to play someone a little bit closer to Morey inside just to work off those breaks.
4 points to 3 it remains in Clare against Galway. It's the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship Group 3 Round 2. Already winning Group 3, Kilkenny. They defeated Westmeath 2-17 to 1-11. Victory for Wexford in Group 1 against Offaly by 4-10 to 15. Cork are leading against Down in the closing stages by 7 points. Ball played by Galway now. Into the middle it goes, but taken well. Oh, I thought it was taken well. And Donoghue looking to break onto it. Here's Aoife Donoghue. She doesn't need a second opportunity. Donoghue looking to get inside. Ball is off here to Eilish O'Reilly. Just gone away from her too far. O'Reilly looking to keep this ball in play, being tracked all the way there by O'D trying to keep her in, but O'Reilly takes it out over the end line. It's considered a wide by Liz Dempsey, and O'D have to credit her there. Eilish O'Reilly might have seen Aoife Donoghue get in early already, but it wasn't going to be a chance for Eilish O'Reilly.
No, and O'D's been solid out at the back there throughout for Clare today, and really, really clever in her tackling. Probably had the opportunity to maybe haul Aoife O'Donoghue down, but backed herself to stand her up, and then when the pass went off to O'Reilly, got out up in her face and turned it over out there again. But Clare certainly living on the edge at the back at the moment there now, and you just feel maybe they need to get the ball up the field and get a couple of scores, because it's only so long they can hold out at the back.
Down chipped on a couple of scores at the end, but it's Cork that win by 113 to 10 points in their encounter in Newry. Getting underway now as well. In the next few minutes, Dublin and Waterford in Group 2. So Down now facing 2 defeats now, so chance maybe for that group to be decided if Waterford beat Dublin. That will be the 2 teams into the knockout stages, of course, in that group, being Cork and Waterford. Umpire putting up our linesman here 2 minutes of additional time, but sure, we're playing 34 and a half at this stage, so I don't know where the 2 minutes is after coming from.
And interesting, Galway haven't scored since the first water break. Clare have only tacked on a point, but it was 3 points apiece at that first water break, and it's still 4 points to 3 in favour of Clare. So massive credit to Clare in that 15 minutes. They've managed to hold Galway scoreless up until this point, but a new free taker now from the far side.
Ball is played in and it drops over the bar, and that is a fine score from
Niamh McGrath, I'd say, took that one.
Yeah, it was Niamh McGrath that took it, so she's taken over the duties there. It was just checking the black helmets. It was Niamh McGrath that definitely took that then. So Siobhan obviously felt that a couple of ones haven't gone her way, but that was a good score from Niamh McGrath. As we clock into the 35th minute here, ball is locked in long, but it's batted away. And a chance there for Galway. Goes a biggin. 4 points apiece then it is. Ball into the middle. Can Clare bring it on again? Had to turn back though onto her right hand side, Roisin McMahon, and she was robbed by Niamh Kilkenny. Should have played it with her left. Kilkenny now driving forward. Can Galway lead at half time? Niamh Kilkenny and Niamh McGrath showing the way here, and all of a sudden Galway point down, now going in. It looks like it'll break a point up.
Yeah, Clare will be disappointed with that one. Niamh O'D had plenty of time on it, opted to play it out to Roisin McMahon, and she just maybe took too long on it and gave Galway the chance, and Niamh Kilkenny the chance to come in to flick it away.
So ball was pucked out there, and Liz Dempsey, I think, hadn't blown the whistle to resume play. It was a quick puck up by Darren Murphy, and then when she saw the play, she was allowing it to play on, and the player had stopped, so back in it goes for the puck out. Ball is played out to centre back Clare here. We continue on here, time, and there was a little bit of stoppage, of course, a few injuries that were picked up, so no doubt about it. Time is, I would imagine, coming towards the end of it though, as Clare look to get back now level in this game, because I think definitely their first half play deserves it, but Liz Kennedy says you won't have the chance, because there it is, done and dusted. 5 points to 4. Galway very much playing within themselves. Clare taking the game to them, but you'd have to say in the last couple of minutes, Elaine, a little bit of leadership from the Galway girls has seen them lead here at half time.
Yeah, and probably a little bit of tiredness creeping into the Clare to play at the back there, and just allow Galway to capitalise on the couple of mistakes that they made at the back. And look, I think they've done really well not to concede a goal in that 15 minutes. You know, they were under a lot of pressure at times. A great save from Darren Murphy and some great defending from Niamh O'Dea back there, and managed to keep Galway out. But as I said during commentary, you know, there's only so long you'll keep a team like Galway out, and they did tack on 2 good points there coming near the end, that free from Niamh McGrath, and then that real opportunistic trademark Niamh Kilkenny score to just put them the point up at half time. But you know, Clare can take huge credit from that last 15 minutes. Some massive defending, probably just didn't create enough up front to get benefit for all the work that they're doing out the field.
Yeah, and that was something obviously you'd imagine Gerard Connell is going to get through to them, that, you know, you would have to say have lorded it to an effect back in around that centre mid space there in the defensive unit, to just probably the quality of ball then to maybe get Emer Kelly, Chloe Morey maybe on the ball just hasn't been fantastic once it gets to maybe midway. Yeah,
it's working. They're working it out nice and short. And I see Niamh O'Dea's picking out some good passes. It's getting maybe to the midfield, the half forward line, and they're just being turned over. That last pass is just not going straight to hand, or they're giving the Galway defence a chance to get back. And credit to them. You know, I think Chloe Morey inside and Sarah Dervin are having a real battle in there, and Morey looks more than capable of coming out on top of that. But when that ball gets to the ground, it needs to be a Clare player that's first into it, and to utilise the speed of the likes of Emer Kelly in there, maybe to get in to capitalise on those balls that go to ground. But certainly you can feel if Clare can get a bit more ball into Chloe Morey in there, that there's a big score in her yet.
Looking at it from a Galway point of view, Colin Murray can't be happy.
No, I don't think so. Notably, I think Galway are playing a lot of short ball today. Seems to be working it very, very short out from the back, and then the ball into the forwards. As you said, a lot of it's going wide to try and capitalise on the space, but maybe and avoid Niamh O'Dea at centre back there. But Clare are getting the numbers back, and Galway maybe just taking a little bit too long to create anything special up there, I suppose, or to create the scores. They're working to recycle it, but Clare are getting the numbers back, as I said, and are able to turn them over. They've been unfortunate, I suppose. The couple of frees that they got were right out on the sidelines, and difficult ones for Siobhan McGrath. Niamh McGrath looks to have taken them over now, and it'll be interesting to see if she stays on them. Obviously the loss of Carrie Dolan really felt those in their free taking positions, and maybe just for a bit of experience and a bit of control in that half forward line.
Yeah, because you would feel that Galway, their experience might be enough now here to get them over the line in some ways, because, you know, Niamh Kilkenny has made runs at different stages there, Aoife Donoghue, but, you know, again, you know, maybe a little bit of over-reliance, and them just one or two others have to step up out there, you would feel.
Yeah, you know, it seems to be dependent on, I won't say dependent on the same few, but you're waiting for something special to happen, and it seems to be coming from Aoife Donoghue and the couple of runs she made. Eilish O'Reilly has gotten 1 or 2 balls in there, but credit Claire Hare back there, and on occasion Niamh O'Dea has got back to her as well. So, you know, Galway may be a little bit unhappy they haven't gotten more from their forwards, but you'd have to credit the Clare defence as well, and how gallantly they're defending back there. But you just wonder how long they can hold out, and we saw a couple of snippets, I suppose, of what Aoife Donoghue and Eilish O'Reilly are capable of if they do get a run on you in there. There's been a couple of last minute touches, I suppose, a brilliant save from Darren Murphy in there as well, that have kept Clare in this game. So you just feel maybe, you know, the longer the game goes on, if Clare can or if Galway can continue to create those openings back there, that there is only so long Clare will hold out.
Right, well, the views there of Elaine Aylward then, as we see a couple of Clare subs out warming up. Maybe Gerard Connell fancies a little bit of a change, because in these hot conditions I would imagine the bench is going to count here in definitely in the final quarter. Still knocking in around the 23 or 24 degrees here in the sun-bedecked Kenny Park in Athenry. But here at half time in the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship Group 3 Round 2 encounter between Galway and Clare. Clare very much giving it to their illustrious opponents, Galway, but it is the two Neves that have forced Galway just ahead at a half time break. It is Galway 5 points, Clare 4. Rejoin us shortly. And you're welcome back here to Kenny Park in Athenry. We're to get underway shortly. Give you results then. Group 1 already, Wexford 4-10, Offaly 15 points. Group 2, Cork 113, down 10 points. Dublin, Waterford to get underway in a few minutes. And in Group 3, Kilkenny 217, Westmeath 111. Here in Group 3, it is 5 points to 4. And don't forget, just one game tomorrow. It is the game we will feature, and it is the game between Tipperary and Limerick. Ball is in under Liz Dempsey, and it's won by Clare, who will attack the town end of Kenny Park here. But it's won by Niamh Hannafy, giving it off here now to Niamh McGrath. McGrath decides to play a ball inside, and it's a good take by Finnerty. Finnerty looked like to have a pull in the jersey there, and it's going to be a free in. And a good start from a Galway point of view, a little bit more purpose on it.
Yeah, and turned over Clare nicely in the middle of the field. A lovely hand there for Catherine Finnerty to win that ball, and once she got to ground and turned, you knew she had the advantage. So chance now for Siobhan McGrath.
So back it goes to Siobhan McGrath this time to take these frees. On the top of the D, shortens the grip, pops the ball over the bar. And again, it'll work for her confidence there, because she probably would have had a couple of wides.
Yeah, in that first half, as we said, a couple of difficult frees. It had that easy one starting off and another easy one in the second half there, but definitely it seems to be a bit more purpose about Galway now. What a take in the middle of the field from Clare.
6 points to 4 then it is on the board as this ball is knocked in. It's long and it's over the bar. That's a phenomenal effort from Spillane.
Super take from Aoife Keane from that pocket, right, rose up above all the other players on the field and gathered that one, and a super strike and a super score.
Ball breaks and it's over there with Dervla Higgins out, so back to 6-5. Ball though lost by Clare, and here we're right beside the Clare backroom management, and some of the balls that go loose they're not overly happy with.
No, and even looking at Ger O'Connell down the sideline there, a real desolate, I suppose, hands on the head when that ball went in. Obviously they have created the space in there and wanted to take advantage of it, and just didn't do it on that occasion, and you can't give those Galway defenders free time on the ball.
But you'd have to say on occasion here as well, Elaine, Galway, just after hitting another wide there, you know, they have been guilty, Galway, of some maybe terrible shot opportunities too.
Yeah, another bad option there from Niamh McGrath. You know, had loads of time, but it's difficult enough angle, I suppose, and as we said, into the wind, maybe better off to play it into that full forward line where, you know, they have the firepower in there.
Clare looking to play this ball forward, wasn't really looked, and it's got to be the strong run of Niamh Kilkenny, keeps it on the end of the hurl. How does it just look like with Niamh, it's glued to the end of the hurl as she settles on this left hand side? That's a ball off the crossbar and over. It's in the back of the net, dipped in behind. Oh, Darren Murphy had feel for her there. It just seemed to clip just the bottom of the crossbar, was it, and dropped in behind her.
Yeah, it was one of those real teasing ones that drops just on the crossbar, and Murphy opted to go with the hand, and it just dropped in over her hand, and, you know, a real sucker blow now for Clare, having hurled so well.
A bit of a sucker blow, but again it just goes to show you the leadership of Kilkenny.
Absolutely, won a ball, you know, on her own 65, you could say. Never looked to be any danger there or looked to be creating anything, but saw the gap, move forward, and, you know, as you said, ball on the end of the hurl, and, you know, did so well to even get the shot away under the pressure of an attempted hook, and maybe it was that half kind of mishit shot maybe that allowed it to drop just where it did and created the goal.
Ball played inside. Galway is starting to play a little bit more of a flow now. Maybe it'll just relax them a little bit, but Clare can still come into this. Spillane takes a little bit of a flick there. The ball could have went anywhere, and eventually it's picked up by their number 10, Aoife Keane, that got that fine score at the start here, giving it into Orla Duggan. Duggan has to step back, giving it back. She has advantage. Keane playing it across the field now, looking for an opportunity here for Robin Conway. Haven't seen a whole lot of Robin now. She looks to take it away from Dervla Higgins. Hits the deck, and Higgins claims it on her home pitch and knocks it down the field. Robin Conway wasn't going to get in too easy on her home patch there. As the ball breaks, here comes Donoghue, flicks it up to herself, flicks it towards the bottom corner, and it's a good save again from Darren Murphy. She's having a fine game.
Yeah, you'd put your money on it, with Aoife Donoghue inside the defence, bearing down on goal, 1-on-1. You'd put her money on it to put it away, but credit to Darren Murphy, you know, stood tall and got a super save to it and knocked it out for the 45. But Clare, I suppose, and Clare here in particular, disappointed to even have afforded Donoghue that opportunity.
In reality, I suppose for Aoife Donoghue, she'd like to take that back. It should have been a goal, because There was even a Galway player she could have played the ball to, but she elected to go for her own shot. She didn't catch it particularly well. And Darren Murphy has saved twice now. If you want to call the block as well, maybe from Aoife Donoghue, it's 3 times she's blocked away opportunities from Aoife Donoghue. And it remains 1-6-5 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Aoife Donoghue will be disappointed, I suppose, that she didn't, capitalise on that mistake from Claire Hare back there. There was certainly a goal opportunity, and as you said, had a player over as well, and the shot just didn't come off. So, on another day, maybe, Galway might get away with that today, but on another occasion, they will need to punish those mistakes.
Clare player injured over on the far side of the field up, you can see on camera there, is now up on the ground. Niamh McGrath standing over this 45. And definitely a different Galway team will come out this second half, although the goal was a bit fluky.
Yeah, certainly you could feel the increase in tempo even from the management on the sideline there. They were a lot more vocal in that opening couple of minutes, and they really wanted, I suppose, to lay down a marker to Clare straight away and to take the game to them. And as you said, Clare had responded really, really well about that goal, a real sucker punch to them.
Ball then from McGrath, Niamh McGrath this time putting it over the bar. At 45, and that comes after 36 minutes here, 6 minutes of the second half. So Niamh McGrath has 2 and Siobhan McGrath has 2. They've all come from place balls. A goal and a point from Niamh Kilkenny and a point from Aoife Donoghue and Catherine Finnerty. Those are the Galway scores. That brings them on to 1-7, and all of a sudden Galway, having been 5-4 in front at half time, have pushed that out. And just their intensity all of a sudden has grown a bit. Yeah,
and you just see the pressure even they were putting on the Clare players there. Darren Murphy looking for a puck out, an option for a puck out, maybe a sharp puck out from outside, and just knowing they're available to it and forced to go short and then turned over. And, that turnover was meted with a great cheer from the Galway sideline. So cheered nearly as impressively as the goal.
Ball is flicked out there by the Clare defence, and it settles to Niamh McGrath. Going to have a strike, but it's off her left and it's out to the left and wide. Niamh now with a couple of wides there. She has a couple of points as well. 1-7-5 then. 37 minutes gone. Ball long way down, but Healy watching it all the way. And we talked about that tussle, but I think Healy now out in front, no question about it, against Emer Kelly. And maybe Emer has just grown tired of the challenge in some ways as the ball is played long. And Donoghue keeping an eye on the hop, being tracked all the way there by Roisin McMahon. Donoghue though is looking to come back out onto her right hand side, tight angle, whips it in. Umpire is he going to wave it wide though. And Aoife Donoghue got 2 goals against Westmeath, has had a couple of goal opportunities here today, but she's only got 1 point on the board.
Yeah, and I think Galway would be disappointed, as we said, with maybe some of their shot selections. Niamh McGrath had one previously from distance, and again it went wide. Aoife Donoghue from a tight angle there, maybe the point wasn't really on, so creating the chances but maybe just not executing them as well as Colin Murray would like.
Roisin McMahon taking the fight to Galway over on the far side. She probably took too much out of it. A break eventually worked for them and kicked on there by Orla Duggan, but it's gone out over the sideline, and it's a sideline cut for Galway on the far side. Dervla Higgins takes it, but it's flicked back by Aoife Keane, who's the point scorer for Clare in this second half. As Clare look to get forward here, Liz Dempsey says though it was a charge forward there by Keane, and it's going to be a free to Galway. You're watching the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship Group 3 Round 2 encounter between Galway and Clare. Galway win this, they're into the knockout stages. Clare then of course will be relying on that last game. Aoife Donoghue lost the hurl but was able to kick it on, and it's worked out here. Catherine Finnerty thought about knocking it on. Ball breaks off for Ailish O'Reilly. Niamh McGrath wants it, but O'Reilly wants a score. Dropping it in and dropping it to the right and wide. Ailish O'Reilly then turned to Liz Dempsey, thought she might have deserved a free there.
Yeah, there was strong pressure coming in from Niamh O'Dea with the attempted block, and maybe just did enough to put the shot off and to force Ailish O'Reilly to put that one wide.
All over on the far side by Higgins, going to knock it long in behind. Ball breaks off Spellman, might work out for Finnerty. Finnerty looking to get inside, still going Finnerty, shortens the grip, plays the ball inside, touch to the back of the net. Touch to the back of the net by Siobhan McGrath. Lovely bit of play by Catherine Finnerty.
Yeah, and absolutely again a ball from nothing, a super clearance back from left half back, travelled all the way up, broke off Spellman. Finnerty put the head down, was heading for goal the minute she had a possession in her hand, and a super finish then from Siobhan McGrath, real cool, composed, just finished to the back of the net.
So Galway 2-7, Clare 5 points. And you just always knew once Catherine Finnerty got in on her left hand side, if there was someone just going to come off her shoulder, it was going to spell danger.
Yeah, and I think Finnerty spelt intent from the minute she got that ball in her hand, head down, and she was heading for goal. And we've spoken in the first half even about the Galway attack, how they work so well off one another's shoulders and attack at pace, and you knew once one of them got in towards that goal that there was going to be the chance of an overlap and the potential for a score. And credit to Siobhan McGrath, got onto the end of it, and it said real cool composure and a great touch to just flick it around Darren Murphy and into the back of the net.
And if the first goal was fluky, there was nothing fluky about that. It was well worked, even though it was a trickler across the line in the end.
Yeah, it didn't bulge the net by any manner of means, but the finish was very cool, very composed, and credit her, she had the hard run done off the shoulder of Catherine Finnerty, and they've niftest the touches then, I suppose, just to put it into the net.
So just waiting to get a substitution here. It looks like Laura McMahon is going to join her sister Roisin in a minute on the Clare team, unless of course she replaces Roisin. But ball is won by Spillane and it's flicked away from Orla Duggan. Back there helping out Anne-Marie Starr, and this Galway team is a different Galway team.
Absolutely, and they're just starting to grow into the game now, and you can nearly physically see the Clare players tiring a little bit, and the challenge maybe going out of them. But look, they've still have some to create something. The goals probably maybe have come a little bit against the run of play, but they look to create something themselves.
Ball breaks off Maury. Dervin is in there. Maury's still there. Ball it might be worked in there by Shauna Healy, trying to keep an eye on the back of it, but it's got over on the far side and going to be taken away by Anne-Marie Starr, and eventually Niamh Kilkenny drives it down the wing now, looking for Catherine Finnerty, getting in behind OD, looking to flick back inside Donoghue if she wants, but she goes inside OD, coming in onto her right hand side, set up a goal already. Ball flicks and falls to Donoghue, looking to skip away from a challenge, skips away from a second one, pops out outside Ailish O'Reilly, drops it out of her hand. Niamh McGrath is there, but O'Reilly's going to go for a score this time. Has she got it? She has. She had a chance early on, but she's put this ball over the bar. And Clare now suffering really to control Galway here. Yeah,
and Galway looked to be, they had players lined up, as you said. Ailish O'Reilly eventually took that shot, had Niamh McGrath outside her. Catherine Finnerty made a great run in, and it came through the hands of Aoife Donoghue as well. So Galway forwards just queuing up to try and get onto the scoreboard.
To 8 to 5 points. Substitution coming in for Clare, and it looks like it's number 30, Roisin Begley from Trua Clonlara is replacing Emer Kelly. And Emer Kelly is a little bit unsure why she's been replaced there. And I have to say, I can't necessarily blame her. She probably, one forward, has been given a fair amount of it there.
Yeah, and I think she probably has the potential up there to, she's a little bit of pace. And as I said, she's got a good hand, and maybe just didn't get her on her enough ball. As I said, I know Shauna Healy had grown into the game a little bit there, but I felt Emer probably still had something to offer Clare.
Maura McGrath has been replaced by Laura McMahon. So the McMahon of 6 Mile Bridge are on as Kilkenny comes forward with the stripe, but has pulled that out to the left and wide. Galway lead then by 8 to 5 points. And you saw the first half, really Clare were given the utmost, but maybe that Galway burst just before half time that saw them go in and lead by a point just gave them a little bit of a psychological lift, as Chloe Murray not overly happy with the ball that's played in there. And she's having words with her players further down the field, and it just goes to show, falling behind here, the frustration's getting to some. Yeah,
and I think I thought Liz Dempsey might have been going in maybe to have a word with Chloe herself, but I'm not sure if the frustration was at Liz for blowing the free, or if that the player that sent in the ball. But as we said, Clare have worked the ball really, really well from defence, maybe out around the middle of the field, but just a little bit devoid of options up front, I suppose. And they are playing with two inside in that full forward line, and that's an impressive back six from Galway. Whatever way they're organised there, whatever positions they are playing in, they're still an experienced and an established back six. So Clare really needs probably maybe to push up there and go toe to toe with them up there.
Cyan Spillane has been replaced by number 26, Shifra Niconnell, as Galway warming up a few on the bench, as well as this ball is played in by Sarah Spellman, but it's gone out to the left and wide. She made a bit of a spectacular dive after that. I think she was looking that she might have been fouled, but Liz Dempsey was happy enough there, as that's another wide. That will be a factor maybe in some cases then when you look at the Galway display in this first quarter. of the second half that the wide count has been, it's quite large.
Yeah, and I think shot selection as much as anything. If the shots are on and you're taking them, they're going wide, and it's one thing. But I think they're taking shots that maybe not necessarily on. That was a poor wide from Sarah Spellman, albeit under pressure from the Clare defender. But ultimately it was a poor wide, and I suppose they're emphasised all the more. They look all the poorer maybe when you have forwards at the calibre of Siobhan McGrath, Eilish O'Reilly and Catherine Finnerty inside, and they are capable of getting scores and getting goals in there. I suppose that makes the wides feel all the worse then when you don't get the ball in there and it goes harmlessly out of play and allows the opposition to reset.
Anya Loughlin warming up for Clare, and I imagine she'll be in the next while. I also see Tara Kenny, Roisin Black, Maria Cooney all warming up for Galway. I'm sure Colin Murray will be thinking of a few around the water break now as Galway look to stand up to this short puck out taken by Clare. Wasn't really a great ball played by Ciara Grogan to Susan Daly, and the ball breaks in favour of Eilish O'Reilly. Looking to battle forward now, giving it here to Siobhan McGrath, going to have a shot. It's tight to that right hand upright, but it's gone to the right and wide. Chance gone a biggin. Siobhan, a couple of wides now. I'd say it's about 3 now, looking at my notes here that she has. And she already has a goal and 2 points as well. We asked maybe at half time for some of the Galway forwards needing to step up, and I'd imagine some of them have.
Yeah, certainly in both terms of work rate, I suppose, and in scoring up front. They've worked to create a little bit more, but I suppose, as you said, from a Galway point of view moving forward, they will be disappointed with the shot selection, the amount of wides they are racking up. But look, it shows they're creating the chances, and I think the forwards are probably working a little bit harder to shut down the Clare defence as well. And Niamh O'Dea is not as outstanding as she was in that first half, and I think that's because Galway have pushed up on her and maybe made life difficult for Doireann Murphy in the Clare goal as regards options for puck outs.
So referee has called water break here, and that gives an opportunity maybe for Clare to get some fluids on and maybe, look at matters of maybe winning the last quarter, because this game has gone from them now. At this stage, Galway are going to be in the knockout stages, and Clare will be looking to Westmeath now next week, and sure, that becomes a big 6-pointer in ways. Whoever wins that, of course, avoids being dragged into relegation.
Yeah, I suppose they'll still try and feel they want to get something from this game, maybe a big close in 15 minutes just to put them in fine stead for next weekend when they have that all-important game against Westmeath. And obviously Westmeath buoyed by a good performance for much of that game against Kilkenny today, and actually led Kilkenny at half-time. So, it's a huge couple of minutes now and a huge week next week for Clare. But look, I think Ger O'Connell will look for more from his players. They've only scored a point since half-time, and 5 in total, not enough to win you any championship game. And while they held Galway out for long stages that first half, when Galway put the pressure on them and upped it through the gears there just after half-time, they did tack on the couple of scores. The goal, all right, the first one fortunate enough, but the second one a really well worked score, and I suppose it had been building during that first half, and we did say there was only so long that Galway defence could hold out, and inevitably with forwards the calibre of the Niamh McGraths, the Siobhan McGraths, Eilish O'Reilly, Catherine Finnerty and Aoife Dunhu up there, they are going to create chances and they'll ultimately convert them.
Well, I was going to say to you, Elaine, that the way things were going here, and if you expect maybe Tipperary to win tomorrow, that all these groups could be sorted by next weekend. But just getting word from Parnell Park that in the early stages there, it is Dublin, I should say, that lead Waterford by 3 points to no score. And if that was to hold through all the way to the end, it might make that an interesting end to next weekend. Yeah,
certainly an interesting group there, and a couple of results I suppose still up for grabs, and a little bit of chess maybe next weekend as regards results and teams going out and who plays who, and a bit of shadow boxing maybe coming into the knockout stages. But I suppose ultimately on a weekend like today, you'll want to get your win and get your victory, and that's all Galway will worry about today from a Waterford and Dublin point of view. I suppose Dublin will have learned from last weekend and the relegation final against Waterford that it's not over until it's over, as Down learned to their detriment last week. So, a huge game there, and obviously will have big impacts on one of their championships going forward.
Yeah, and Down might be thinking a couple of points that they got at the end of the game against Cork today could come into a factor if all of them ended up on the same points.
If scoring different comes into it, if you have a win each, and who knows what way games will go in when it comes down to that. And as you said, the couple of points there today for Down could prove very telling.
Coming in for Clare is Sinead Conlon. She replaces Susan Daly. I also see Anya Loughlin has come into the game, and I think she's replaced Robin Conway. So ball over on the far side now is going to be a sideline, I think. Waiting, Liz Dempsey Just taking her time over there. Just, I think, getting the watches sorted and everything, and throws the ball in. And it's Clare that are looking to take it out over on that far side. Galway leading 2-8-5. And I would imagine Cathal Murray down in front of us here, a happier man, the way things have turned out this second half. It hasn't been spectacular, but they've done the needful. But here come Clare, maybe a bit of a gander up in them now in the closing stages. A couple of players that have come on, but well worked there, you'd have to say, by Emma Hellebert, doing the defensive duties well there and plays that ball forward. Clare over on the far side now, looking to recycle this ball. Good ball. Murray takes it, bat it down, but wasn't able to pull it into herself, and it's taken away by Niamh McGrath. Playing crossfield ball now. Ball knocked down there by Niamh Kilkenny, but it's picked up by another Niamh O'D. Playing it out here to Alana Ryan. Ryan looking to skip inside there. The attentions of Niamh McGrath, giving it to Orla Duggan. Duggan playing it forward now. Here's an opportunity for Mo Loughlin. Breaks away from her and Dervin. Ball with Murray. Plays it along the ground. Murray doesn't catch it enough, and it's taken away by Sarah Healy. And there's a Clare player injured over on the far side, and I think it was from that play that was there originally with Emma Hellebert, and not sure which one of the Clare players it is, but she's in a little bit of bother with a physio over there. And again, I'm just thinking now when I'm looking at it, Anya Loughlin didn't start, don't know whether she had an injury or whatever, but one ball in, she causes Sarah Turfin a few problems, and you just wonder, why wasn't she maybe there from the off?
Yeah, and I suppose physically, even to looking at them, she's an ideal match for Sarah Dervin on the edge of the square. Two tall players, both with good hands, good in the air. And if that's the kind of ball that, Clare did play into Chloe Morey in there, she was contesting high balls and bringing them to ground. But perhaps Anya O'Loughlin capable of winning those aerial battles and then laying it off to the oncoming forwards. But, a big roll of the dice, I suppose, from Clare in the last 15 minutes there.
The Clare player that's injured looks like race is run, looking like it's Roisin Begley, only in, I think, again, just got caught up in a Galway challenge there, not an untoward or anything like that, but just came out the worst.
Yeah, named at number 30 on the panel. I wonder, maybe was she carrying an injury into the game, and maybe was that the roll of the dice for her, but certainly looks to have finished the game for today.
Ball is down here now for McGrath, looking to play the ball inside Halish O'Reilly, but it's well cut out there by the Clare defence. Looking to bat this ball out. Take it in, Becky Foley. Being challenged there by Siobhan Gardner. Eventually gets it up here in the direction of Aoife Keane. You'd have to credit Keane. Has taken the game to Galway here, but unfortunately that pass goes astray, and it's the other number 10 that intercepts it in Niamh McGrath. Plays it in field, but Clare now maybe have an overlap here if they're able to get this ball forward. Coming forward, no opportunity. Ball is dropped in. It's on top of O'Loughlin, but it's a little bit too close to the end line. And Niamh O'D was asking an awful lot of Anya Loughlin to try and get on that one, but it was a chance.
Yeah, and you could see Niamh O'D when she saw the open ground in front of her there, she opened up the legs and wanted to move forward, and probably an attempted shot maybe at a point, but just drifted to the wide and didn't really give Anya Loughlin a chance inside in that full forward line.
Ball down in the corner as such here. We call it the corner because we can't see beyond the 45 really when it gets tight to the sideline, so we're relying on the camera work of Luke and Owen. And it's a free that's won by Ciara Grogan. Galway look like they're going to bring in a sub. It looks like it's Noreen Cohen on a pitch that she knows quite well, I'm sure. Got a goal against Westmeath the last day she is in, and is replacing Sarah Spellman.
Yeah, huge impact sub for Galway, and what a talent to have on the bench to bring it in at a time, I suppose, when bodies are getting a little bit tired, a little bit exhausted from the heat and the exertions out there today. And Clare now down to 14 players, I think, is all their substitutes are used. They didn't get to replace Roisin Begley there, so the task, I suppose, made all the harder now for the remaining few minutes. Yeah,
hard, isn't it, when that happens? Ger O'Connell thinking of next week, giving a few players a bit of a run, and then, unfortunately, injury happens, and now it's made that a little bit harder for them. And all you can do now is resign yourself to hoping that the girls that are out on the field will, play for a bit of pride now and think of next week and getting their place on the team here. Ball down in the corner then. Clare's number 8 there, Orla Duggan had it, but it looks like it's Siobhan McGrath that comes in to try and win that ball. Referee said it's going to be a free in. It's going to be a tight enough angle for Siobhan. Maybe she'll give it to Sister Niamh, will she? And it's number 17 for Galway coming in, Tara Kenny, and she replaces Shauna Healy. Tara, of course, no stranger to the Galway setup. And it's nearly like for like in some ways.
Yeah, and similar to Noreen Cohen, like what a skill or talent to have on the bench to be able to bring in at this stage of a game, and a really tight teak defender back there in the same vein as Shauna Healy.
I think Shauna Healy was quite happy for Colin Murray to call her ashore, getting a bit of water now, and everything is. He's going to run the bench here now a little bit, it looks like, with subs. As we said, Noreen Cohen already in, but it looks like 18, 19 and 20 won't be far away. Roisin Black, Maria Cooney and Ciara Murphy all look like they're going to get a run. But Shauna Healy, who might have been troubled by Emer Kelly in the early stages, definitely came out on top in that battle then.
Yeah, it was, and credit to Emer Kelly. I suppose she brought a big game to her there today, but I suppose you're not a defender of Shauna Healy's character if you're not able to stand up to a couple of those kind of challenges on a championship day and still come out on top. And as I said, that Galway defence has been shuffled and reshuffled a little bit at the back there, but there has been some constants there throughout, and Shauna Healy's certainly one of those.
So we're just waiting for the attention that's being given to the Galway player here at the moment. So catch up on scores then in Group 1. Victors today, Wexford into the knockout stages. And what a week it has been for them. Late goals. A late goal from Chloe Fox, of course, against Limerick the last day. And now 4 goals today. Defeat Offaly 4-10 to 15. So into the knockout stages. Cork getting over down by 1-13 to 10. Down coming late with a couple of points, and that could be vital, as we said, if things are to tighten up at the top, because Dublin lead Waterford in the early stages by 3 points and no score. That's in Group 2. And in Group 3, Kilkenny 217 to 111, and here it is 2-8 to 5. So next weekend looks like very little play for, unless Dublin upset the apple cart there now a little bit, and that group could become very tight there for the second place. With Niamh McGrath going to take this free then. Tight enough angle. Niamh follows after it. Looks like it's over the bar. Is she happy with it? And the umpire is as well. Good score from Niamh McGrath from a very tight angle.
Yeah, and it looked even like she got the rise of it wrong a little bit and had to chase it a little bit maybe to get her strike away, but she did, and it curved in. And between herself and Siobhan, they've taken over the free taking duties there today, and once they've got the decision over who's taking the angles and who's taking the ones from in front of the goal and the distance out, they seem to have got a handle on it for Galway today.
Water break then between Waterford and Dublin, and it's 4 points to 2 in favour of the Metropolitans as this ball breaks for Duggan, looking to step inside there. Niamh Hannafy and Ailish O'Reilly turns around and puts the ball over the bar, and that was a good score, and Orla Duggan has really played her part in taking the Clare game to Galway, and a fine score.
Yeah, probably hasn't had as much freedom around the middle of the field maybe, or as much of an impact on the game as she did last week against Kilkenny, but a massive player for Clare, and just rewards I think to getting up there and get that point today, get her name on the scoreboard.
2-9 to 6 points then Galway, that rattling off in the early stages then. The goal from Niamh Kilkenny on 33, and that was followed up by a goal on Siobhan McGrath on 39. There was a few points in between, and that's where ultimately the game was all turned as this ball is played down into the corner over the head of Ciara Grogan, being tracked all the way. And look at the pace there of Noreen Cohen to get across to win that ball. Looking to play it inside, lovely little ball into McGrath. Her sister Niamh looking for it, but Siobhan says, nah, don't need you. Put the ball in. And unfortunately she put it wide. Niamh will remind her of that on the car on the way home, I'd say.
Maybe she did need her for a little bit of help there, but I suppose just shows the impact of the bench there. Noreen Cohen with the really fresh legs won that battle there with Ciara Grogan for possession on the sideline, and credit to Ciara Grogan, she's had a big game back there today for Clare. Tough task to pick up Siobhan McGrath, but I think she's done really, really well there. Came out in front for a couple of balls early in the first half, and I think starting to feel maybe the exertions of it there in that Clare full back line at this stage of the game.
So Maria Cooney, she's gone in there, and she replaces Anne-Marie Starr, and Niamh Hannafy has been replaced by Ciara Murphy, and it looks like Roisin Black has gone in. So just looking, Galway have an extra player in the field because they're just waiting for Dervla Higgins to get across here. She's been replaced by Ciara Murphy. Clare, as we said already, down to that 14 because of all the subs they had run in, and they got an injury then, unfortunately, to one of the subs, Roisin Begley, as this ball heads down towards the far end, and Roisin Black is in there to try and win this, being hassled there by Becky Foley. Ball breaks on. It's Sarah Dervin holding off the attentions of Anya O'Loughlin. And I have to say, again, Anya O'Loughlin has caused enough butter in there in the few minutes that she's been in. You wonder why she didn't start.
Yeah, you look, we said it again. She's a huge physical presence in there on the edge of the square, and a huge presence for Clare in there, and certainly has troubled, has held up the ball, I suppose, in there. The couple of balls that has gone in that second half.
Clare's number 26 is Sheafern Connell trying to step inside, slipped out at the wrong moment, and the ball breaks, and it's Cooney that eventually lets Ciara Murphy come away with it, gets away from Niamh McGrath. Pulling it first time is Niamh O'Dea, and the ball breaks in the direction again of Ciara Murphy. Taps the ball inside where it's given to Emma Hellibert. The Balladreen player has time to step around and look down into the corner, looking for nice little movement here now of Noreen Cohen. Checks the run and then goes inside. The options maybe a Clare here, flicking the ball across. She knows the angles of Athenry well. It comes off the upright, could have went anywhere, bounced back across the goal. There must have been a bit of top spin on that. I've never seen that happen.
Yeah, really unusual for it to come back across where it came back, and Clare were lucky that they were first to the break there, because Galway had been attacking in droves, but another good run from Noreen Cohen in there.
Ball now going to be dropped forward here by Maura McGrath in on top of the head of O'Loughlin. She's in there with Dervin, flicks it away from Dervin, but Dervin using her strength to be able to get the ball out here, and Galway looking to break out. Bit of a loose hand pass though, and Clare have turned it over. Going to have a shot coming in from distance, but it's going to tail out to the left and wide from Becky Foley. Remains on the scoreboard 2-9 to 6, 28 minutes gone in the second half. And we'll be thinking about a player of the match here as we see that opportunity from Noreen Cohen. Ball dropped in, and Darren Murphy, I think she was probably perfectly understandable letting the ball go, thinking it was dropping wide, and it just came off the upright and bounced back across the goal. Luckily not in for her.
Yeah, credit to Clare, they were alert on the end line there. Could have been a different story, but Noreen Cohen was disappointed maybe not to get on the scoreboard with that one.
While we're looking at the haul up in play there, Elaine, maybe have a think through the both sides. You'd have to think at Niamh O'Dea at various different stages. Orla Duggan, Aoife Keane, I suppose Emer Kelly up to a certain point. Chloe Murray, I suppose, getting the 4 points for Clare. They've all at different stages taken the game to Galway. I would imagine your player of the match is going to come from a Galway setup who probably in the first half weren't fantastic, but definitely in that opening quarter of the second half an awful lot better. The likes of Kilkenny, the McGraths, Ailish O'Reilly at different stages taking it to them. There's the ball coming forward here, and it's O'Dea going backwards that wins that ball. The referee says though that she committed the foul. I think it's going to be a free in for Galway. Yeah,
super build up there from Clare have pushed Niamh O'Dea up to, I think she's lying out at centre forward at the moment, and linked up well with Chloe Murray there, and the two of them attacked at speed, and a chance maybe for Chloe now just to have a shot at the Galway goal and to put a bit of respectability on the scoreboard from a Clare point of view.
Yeah, so Niamh O'Dea charging forward there and was taken. Maybe it should have been a card offence there, but nothing accruing, and Chloe Murray going to have a strike. That was some effort. I think there was a bit of anger behind that.
There certainly was a strike, alright. It was a powerful shot to the Galway net, and absolutely, as we see it again, just rocket to the roof of the net, and I think maybe 50 minutes of frustration went into that shot there.
Probably though, for everything that they gave in the first half, to probably deserving to be a little bit closer.
Yeah, certainly, and for all the possession they had and all the work they did, that's probably the first shot they actually got off on Sarah Healy's goal. So, credit to Murray, when the time came, she did finish as well.
Ailish O'Reilly was trying to get in there, but it's a good bit of play by Sinead Conlon, who came on as a sub here in the second half, playing it forward to another sub in Sheafern Connell. But ball has been won back by Noreen Cohen. Plays a lovely little dinky ball into Siobhan McGrath. It was disrupted though by Orla Duggan there, and the ball eventually is in the hands of Maura McGrath. Over to the far side of the field it goes with Aoife Keane, who definitely one of the standout Clare players, playing it forward now, dropping in over Murray, but it's taken away there, and it's Maria Cooney playing the ball up along the wing. As again, it's Sinead Conlon that steps into this. Murray out in front, looking to spin this ball in. Here's a ball now, might drop for O'Loughlin. If she pulls on it, takes it away from Sarah Healy. Shot back at the net. And there again, I just got to prove to you that maybe Anya O'Loughlin should have been on from the start.
And maybe Clare needed Chloe Murray further out the field from the start as well. Obviously, when they didn't have Anya O'Loughlin in there, she was in on the edge of the square. But, Chloe Murray certainly played that ball in, and Anya O'Loughlin did so well to control it and finish it to Healy's net, and we're in for an exciting couple of minutes finish here.
Now all of a sudden Galway have to go searching again, because they're only 3 points up, and a little break and anything could happen. That was a ball that just popped up lovely right on the edge of the square. Healy couldn't come from it, but here's an opportunity straight away. There's how you answered. Aoife Donoghue settling the nerves, and that's where leaders step up again.
Yeah, and that's just the response you'd expect from Galway, and from their experienced player and their tallies woman up front. A super score from her, and maybe just settle Galway nerves a little bit again.
2-10, 2-6. It's a bit of a change. Then those 2 goals coming very, very quickly for Clare from Chloe Murray from that free, and then Anya O'Loughlin, a ball just hopping on the edge of the square. And as I said to you, Sarah Healy couldn't come from it. Dervin was caught behind, and O'Loughlin was just able to take it beyond Healy and put it low into the back of the net. But a loose ball here now by the Clare defence, and it's Siobhan McGrath coming to step across, has a goal and 2 points, looking to step inside. They just need to keep the scoreboard ticking over, don't need to be fancy. Ailish O'Reilly knows where the goals are though, coming in on her left hand side. Ailish O'Reilly shortens the grip, taps it over the bar, and I suppose that wipes out that goal.
Yeah, super response again from Galway, and Ailish O'Reilly coming in there, maybe not as comfortable on her left, but got in close enough to push it up and over. And a huge response, I suppose, when Clare did get that second goal. Galway have answered any questions asked of them.
2-11, 2-6 then, and as you can see, few Clare players down. There's a little bit of cramp and everything like that, so we'll take the opportunity, Elaine, to call eventually your player of the match here.
Yeah, for a while there you had mentioned a lot of the Clare players, and probably said that it was going to be a Galway player, and I was wondering there when the second goal went in, would I have to change it again? But yeah, from a Clare point of view, I suppose Niamh O'Dea was outstanding in the first half, and Clare could really do with a second or third Niamh O'Dea, that they might play one in the middle of the field and one up front. She's been a stalwart for Clare Camogie, and Orla Duggan worked harder in the middle of the field, as did Aoife Keane, and created troubles for Galway up front. From a Galway point of view, I suppose it was a good collective team performance. I'm not sure there was any huge big standout player, but at times, at the back there, Shauna Healy, as you said, really grew into the game, and Sarah Dervin controlled things as she does so well at the back. Niamh Hannafy around the middle of the field was outstanding, and again I suppose Niamh Kilkenny was popped up all over the field, and up front then you had the 2 McGraths with a couple of frees, Siobhan with that really cool finish of a goal up front, and Catherine Finnerty and Aoife Donoghue really, really busy. Aoife Donoghue getting 2 points and Catherine Finnerty with 1 point. So, could really have been any of those players. But I just think for me, the goal that Siobhan McGrath got probably just finished it coolly to the net. Probably was the standout moment of the game, and was probably the final coffin in the Clare, or the final nail in the Clare coffin today. So for me, Siobhan McGrath was probably the player of the match.
So Siobhan McGrath is getting the nod in here from Elaine Aylward, and we'll hopefully hear from her at the end of the game. But this game was getting away from Clare. Then they got 2 goals, and it was maybe in danger of getting away from Galway again, but they've hit back with 2 points in the lead in injury time here now with 2-11 to 2-6. A little bit too close for comfort, you would feel, considering how dominant they've been in this second half. But here goes Aoife Donoghue popping the ball inside to Ailish O'Reilly, looking to take it on the run. Ball breaks, so it's going to be Kilkenny going to settle on this, driving it high and up and over the bar. And again, just those 3 stand out. Donoghue, Riley and Kilkenny. They've been knocking around this Galway setup a long time, knew how to dig out that score there.
Yeah, when the need is the greatest, they're the 3 that pop up. Aoife Donoghue with that first score, Niamh Kilkenny with that one. They are the real leaders on this Galway team.
Ball played forward, that's a good little flick away there from the Galway defence, and here she's just got the point down the far end, and here's Kilkenny on the ball. She's always hungry for work, Niamh Kilkenny.
Yeah, and that initial flick was from Siobhan McGrath, who would track back the whole way back her field. So I suppose a huge increase in the work rate from Galway in that second half, and that's ultimately what's led them to victory here.
Ball played forward, and Murray playing a little bit of an audacious pass. Would have been something else if O'Dea had got on to that. And O'Dea causing a little bit of hassle back there now for Siobhan Gardner at the moment, over close to the sideline. O'Dea gets up, and Gardner looks like she dragged it with her, but the linesman is not sure because he's kept the flag down. And he is calling it as a Clare ball eventually.
Yeah, I think Niamh O'Dea had staked it as her own anyway. I tried to take it quick, and maybe that's what caused the hold up and play back there, but a Clare ball eventually.
Good cut inside then, but there's no one there on the 13-metre line, and the ball breaks. An opportunity for Dervin to settle on this, but Liz Dempsey I should say, has seen enough, and Galway stumble, I suppose, in a way, then effectively over the line. But as you mentioned, that goal for Siobhan McGrath, when it did come after 39 minutes, ultimately was the game decider. 2 late goals for Clare, probably too little too late, but it did make it interesting in the closing stages.
Yeah, it certainly did. And when you think Clare played those closing stages with just 14 players, having not been able to use having used all their subs, not being able to replace Roisin Begley when she went off injured, it was a massive last couple of minutes there from Clare, I suppose, and that will give them impetus going forward to next weekend's game. But ultimately, I suppose the damage was done just after that after half time in that opening quarter when Galway tore into them and got those 2 goals and added on the 3 points to Clare's single point. So that was where the real danger was, or the real damage was done, I suppose. And then, when the questions were asked of Galway by Clare coming in the closing stages there when they got their 2 goals, they did, respond again. And as we said, the leaders really stood up. The Niamh Kilkenny's, Aoife Dunhu's and the Siobhan McGrath stood up and got the important scores that just saw them out over the line in the end.
Really, when they went in at half time, 5-4 down, I would imagine the closing stages of that first half where they got 2 points from Niamh McGrath and Niamh Kilkenny gave them something to be positive about at the break, but they were a different side when they came out after the half time.
Yeah, like if you're Clare going into that half-time break, you're thinking we've hurled really, really well, we've done so well, and yet now they've gotten those last 2 points and they've managed to sneak a lead at half-time. So, and Galway certainly carried that into the second half then when they hit the field for that second half. I said you could even hear it on the sideline, you could see it on the sideline. There was a marked energy about them that wasn't there in that first half, and they hit Clare for those 2 goals and ultimately didn't look back from there.
Galway, I guess we said things are tipping along for them, but they haven't been spectacular. So, has Colin Murray anything to be worried about as they face into Kilkenny next week? 2 sides, obviously, that have now qualified for the knockout stages. Is it going to be an opportunity to shadow box? And as you mentioned, it doesn't really matter who maybe finishes top of the group because, you could end up anyway making your way into the knockout stages. Depending on what way things work out, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I suppose from a Galway point of view, I feel Galway need to get a win over Kilkenny. They've been beaten by Kilkenny in Championship the last couple of times, the league final, the All-Ireland final. I just think mentally maybe Galway need to get a victory over Kilkenny in order to push on again. From a Kilkenny point of view, I suppose they won't have been overly happy with today's performance. Obviously, we haven't got a chance to see it yet, but just going from the scoreline, they haven't been overly convincing, probably weren't overly convincing in Clare last weekend. So, maybe they're looking to put a massive performance in next weekend before they get to knockout stages. But then again, their league campaign has been similar enough in that they trucked along, never did anything out of the ordinary and, did really well to win games and dig out results, I suppose. So, look, it'll be an interesting week, I suppose, for the 2 of them. The focus will now certainly be on knockout Camogie. Now, the 2 of them have qualified, but they'll still have a game to play next weekend, and it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, it will. It's a game that we're going to feature next Saturday on the Camogie Association YouTube channel. But we're going to break for the moment then. As you can see, the Galway ring at the moment being spoken to by members of the management team. They've won here in this encounter in Group 3. So along with Kilkenny, they've qualified for the knockout stages of the All-Ireland Senior Camogie Championship. But for the moment, don't go too far away. We will have reaction from both camps and our player of the match as well. But it's finished here. Galway 2-12, Clare 2-6. And the face you see on camera is, of course, number 13, our player of the match, Siobhan McGrath. Siobhan, you made a bit of a hard work of it.
Yeah, definitely. I suppose we started well in the second half, but then we let them back into it. I suppose the 2 goals, we didn't kind of shot ourselves in the foot, I suppose, but I think it was a good sign of us as a team. The last few minutes there was looking, I think it was back to 3 points, and we got a few kind of security points again. I suppose Eve Donoghue stood up and nailed it to Riley, so they were we badly needed those scores, but I suppose it's something to work on now going forward. When we have that sort of lead, I suppose we can't let a team back into it like that.
Looking at it, the 2 scores from the 2 Neves before the half-time break probably might have changed Colin Murray's speech at half-time did it a little bit, because at least it swung the pendulum back the other way.
That's it, I suppose we went in a point up at half-time, but easily could have been the other way, really. I think Clare, I suppose it's what we expected from them. For both of us, it was kind of all on the line today. Whoever lost today, it would have been very hard to come back from it. So it's what we expected, really. But I suppose it was really important, those 2 points we got going into half time. It gives you a bit of a boost, I suppose, because I don't think we really hurled that well in the first half overall, really.
And then you come out and you were on the top of the ground. I know you got a bit of a fluky goal, but talk to us about your movement then for your own goal, because I think you'd have to give a little bit of credit to Catherine Finnerty. Little bit of a jink and jive, and she played a pass, and you just happened to continue to run. Nice little flick in. Yeah,
definitely. I suppose you have to give all the credit to Catherine Finnerty there. She started the move, and she did all of the work, really. She was a live wire there again today. She's flying it. She's all over the pitch, really. And I suppose I was just very lucky. I could have put it wide as easily, really. I just kind of touched off my her more than Anton, but it was a brilliant hand pass by her. She hit a hand pass just right in front of me, so I was just kind of in the right place at the right time.
Finally, for yourselves, would you be anyway concerned the way Clare came back? Just, I suppose, a little bit gloss on the scoreboard, but you mentioned there as well that you were able to kick on then with a couple of scores. You probably wiped out 1 or 2 of the goals ultimately, but it just got a little bit interesting there the last few minutes.
Definitely, yeah, and as I said, it's something we really need to look at going forward. When we have that bit of a lead, you can't be letting teams come back into it, especially as we go on in the championship. We'll be facing the likes of the Corks, Kilkenny's, Tips, anyone really going forward now. It's going to be knockout, and if that happens in a knockout match, it's very hard to come back. A bit of momentum like that, and you're looking at a defeat really in another situation. We were just kind of very lucky that we got a few points near the end.
Well, congratulations, you're our player of the match though, and you roll on to the knockout stage. Well done.
Thanks a million, Killian. Thanks.
That's Siobhan McGrath giving us her views and opinions here on the match today between Galway and Clare. Our player of the match as picked by Elaine Aylward, and thanks to Ger O'Connell. He's going to join us here now, giving us his views. Ger,
how are you?
I feel for you in a way, because toe to toe going with them there, and I suppose Galway eke out a couple of scores before half time and just flip the pendulum back their direction.
Yeah, we kind of felt we probably should have been up at half time if we kind of have enough possession and just weren't making use of it. And then the goal just after half time, I'm playing goals long enough myself, so I never blame a goalie for things like that. These things happen, so kind of Galway then got a bit of momentum after it. But look, with 14, we kind of made our subs in, and then because there was just a constant thing there over 10-15 minutes where we had our 5 subs in, girl gets injured, played with 14, and in fairness, the character of the girls as well to finish like they did and get to 2 goals. It's disappointing, it means an awful lot to those girls. They put in some effort, and it's just very emotional. For the girls are very emotional, like this championship means, and a lot playing for their county means a lot from, and yeah, I'm just so disappointed to be out of the championship. But geez, next week is a big game now for us again,
And that's something I'm probably thinking that if you go in towards next week, you're taking on a Westmeath side that got a bit of a shot in the arm today, troubled Kilkenny for a little bit of a stage, so it won't be an easy enough task for you.
No, absolutely not. We're very disappointed, but that turns out it's going to be a huge game now for us as well, So, look, we'll regroup with a few injuries. We have to assess how the group is, and. We just have to try and bounce back. But look, this is very disappointing. Come here. We held our own, but again, you need to win games.
But still, though, take it to next week. You made a few changes, and a couple of the players that came in caused a little bit of angst for Galway, and you were able to secure 2 goals at the stage. So there's probably something positive to take out of it, Ger.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, in character, even against Kilkenny, we finished really strong, and the Kilkenny game well. It's just in periods we just maybe lose a bit of concentration as well, and just catches us, and that's just that bit of experience we need to build up. But look, again, the character the girls showed. It's just we just really want to be winning these games. You know, it's at the end of the day.
I will say though, probably a few players have put their hands up now for next week. As
Yeah,
you said, sure,
yeah.
It's a big championship cup knockout game.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, and you have to be. You know, it's really hot again here today. Like, and to have 3 games on the bounce like that, you know, you're going to have to use our squad. So yeah, it's something we've to decide as a management what way we go and assess the girls, as I said, during the week. So look, the girls will get off into the wins and regroup, and we'll see how we go from there.
Ger, thanks indeed, gentlemen, for joining
So,
us.
no problem.
Best
Thanks,
of luck
mate.
next week, as of course Clare will face Westmeath, and our final interview then of the evening. We were able to locate him finally. Cathal Murray comes into camera there. Cathal, it wasn't easy for you in a way. You made probably tough work of it in some quarters.
Oh, it was always going to be hard for us, to be honest with you. We knew Clare were going to win. You know, they come up here in the league, they were 2 points up at half time, and you know, it scored us 12 points to 5. So look at play with a sweeper, they withdraw their half hour line and they make things very hard and keep things very, very, very tight. So look, it was just a matter of managing that, I suppose. Thought we played well enough in the first half, but probably didn't take our chances. We missed an awful lot. And look, the second half, we're really happy with the first 10-15 minutes of it. So happy to have won it, you know, that's all we wanted of it. So really good.
Looking at, I would imagine, you know, at half time, what was the message, Cathal? Because I'm thinking myself in the lane, we're looking at it, we felt that you could have pushed up on the sweeper a little bit. You were probably trying to negate their sweeper by playing a lot of diagonal ball. Some of it was a little bit overcooked. It probably hopped off the ground, got away from players. You know, was it just maybe to relax a little bit maybe in the second half?
Yeah, it's just look at use possession better. Simple as that. We felt we were, you know, Nivo D was having a big influence because of the ball we were hitting in wasn't good enough. You know, we were hitting a lot of it down the middle and maybe a lot out to the sides. It wasn't getting into the full forward line. So it was about carrying a bit farther forward and making sure it got to the full forward line. And you know, I think we got our forwards on a lot more ball in the second half. You know, we worked an awful lot harder. I don't think the work rate was there in the first half where it should have been. And you know, we took our chance an awful lot better. You know.
Yeah, you must be happy. Yeah, and that was going to be my point to you. That opening quarter, a little bit of more movement in the forwards, and a few of your, I suppose, your leaders stepping up as well. I know you got a bit of a fluky goal, but you know it seemed to release a little bit of the pressure valve, and you played some nice hurling after that.
Played some nice hurling at times, yeah. In fairness, and look, we played in the first half as well, but just our final delivery was letting us down. But look, we're happy enough. We knew it was going to be an awful battle today. You know, Clare lost, they were going to be out of the championship, so we knew there was going to be an awful kick in them. And as I said, they keep it really tight. They play a really good system, and it's very hard to break that down. But very, very happy with our 15 minutes after half time. And yeah, we did let Clare back into it towards the end, but at the same time, you know, a really good performance and 2 wins, and we're already qualified and go down to Nolan Park next week. You know, already qualified. That's what we wanted to do.
Looking at that then, it's all getting a bit serious from here on in. I don't know what way you'll judge next week because both of you already are qualified, but you know, it's a camp now. Cathal, you've suffered a few injuries and everything like that. Has it unsettled you in any way?
Listen, injuries are always going to unsettle you a small bit. You know, look at Kerry, we're not sure whether we should be back for the rest of the year. You know, Orla McGrath and Teeny Cormacan are still getting there, I suppose, and Becky Hinley's injured at the moment as well, so we are carrying a lot of injuries, but let's give other players opportunities. And look, we still have a good team, we have a good panel, and they're going really well. And as I said, you know, we're going down to Nolan Park now next week, already qualified, and that's what we wanted.
Cathal, thanks indeed for joining us. Well done, and we'll talk to you next week. As,
thanks.
A look at a match against Kilkenny. Cathal Murray there giving us his views and opinions on the game. So I'm just going to get Elaine to step into view, maybe grab that mic, and we'll just wrap up views here then from Kenny Park. Was honest enough from Cathal in ways, was it?
Yeah, I think it was fairly honest. You know, that opening 15 minutes of the second half was really where they did the damage. Outscored Clare 2-3 to a point, and you know, probably got to grips with Nivo D at centre back, pushed up on her, and I think their forwards probably worked a lot harder and made the Clare defence's job a lot harder in that opening 15 minutes. And as I said, that's really where the damage was done, and they pushed on from there. Alright, he'll be disappointed maybe they conceded 2 late goals, but you know, he had ran the bench at that stage. It was a warm day, I suppose, and Clare had pushed Nivo D forward, and they got on Lachlan. They were really throwing everything at them at that stage. But again, I suppose the response to those 2 goals will please them. You know, as you said, the leaders up front stepped up and they knocked over 3 points again to push it out to a comfortable lead. So
are we being too harsh on Galway in a way? When I look at the scoreboard here, 2-12 to 2-6, when you think of the masterful save by Doireann Murphy from Aoife Donoghue that realistically should have been in the back of the net, and then she made another fine save in the second half from her, but Galway could have had a couple of goals before they went in at half time.
Yeah, they were probably building. That second half, first 15 minutes was probably building coming up to half time, and you know, Darren Murphy had that great save. They were creating a lot up front. It just wasn't, maybe the final pass was just letting them down a little bit, but they did look dangerous up there, and I did feel there was only so long Clare could hold out at the back. As I said, it's a warm day here. It's a tough defence, and one mistake back there, you have the likes of Aoife O'Donoghue or Niamh Kilkenny pushing up and sniffing in on a mistake and getting an opportunity, and ultimately that's what happened in the second half. And as we said, they came out even on the sideline. They were a different team in that first 15 minutes. They really pushed on. They put the game to bed, and it was game over from there.
Looking at it, as he mentioned, he's already alluded to that maybe Carrie Dolan could miss the rest of the year. That's going to be a big loss. Orla McGrath, you're looking at Heather Cooney's obviously a long-term element. He talks with Teenie Cormacan is still working her way back. Becca Henley. It really feels though then that of those who start out there as he 6 forwards, they're going to have to work incredibly hard, you would think. And he probably put it up to them at half time that they didn't work hard enough. Would that be fair enough to say?
Yeah, I think it probably was, and he spoke about the quality of the ball going in, maybe making Niamh O'Dea's job that little bit easier in there, and that was probably a criticism of the work rate out around the field. And you felt when Clare did build from the back then that they were able to play a nice little bit of hurling around the middle of the field, and that probably didn't overly please him. I suppose the gauntlet was thrown down, that their championship was on the line as much as anything. The last thing Galway wanted here today was a defeat and to be heading to Kilkenny next weekend in a must-win game, whereas so that was probably laid down to the girls at half time in the dressing room, and that's probably what sparked that second half performance. And as he said, they're in a very comfortable position now, going to Nolan Park next weekend and already being qualified for the knockout stages.
Looking at Clare, came here with a plan, seemed to tighten things up, cause Galway all sorts of trouble. Niamh O'Dea, probably the standout player for Clare throughout the whole hour. Where are they now as they plan for Westmeath? Because I'm sure they would have been thinking here, we're going to give Galway a run, and if all comes to all, they'd fancy themselves against Westmeath. Then to see what Westmeath challenged Kilkenny today, and all of a sudden that game has a real humdinger next week. Yeah,
and in fairness to Ger O'Connell and to the Clare girls there, they were gutted coming off. I suppose really felt another opportunity gone a begging here today, similar to last weekend, and they probably haven't even looked maybe at the Westmeath game yet or even aware of the Westmeath score, but they'll have a big week ahead now, and it'll be hard to pick the girls up because, as I said, I think they've left 2 opportunities slip the last 2 weekends. They probably felt they're both games that they probably could have got more out of one of them and put themselves in the mix. And I think they've a really good setup. They've a really good method about how they want to play. A couple of real standout players like Niamh O'Dea would be on any team in the country, a real standout player. And up front, when she linked up with Chloe Moore, Anya O'Loughlin coming near the end there, they really created a bit of magic up front. So there's a huge future there in Clare Camogie. Probably a little bit unfortunate maybe in the draw that they got this year. The championship group drawn with the league finalists from the last 2 years and the last 2 All-Ireland champions, and 2 to come out of the group. It was a group of death for them, really. They really had to take one of the big scalps early on, and you just feel that maybe if they'd got a better run at the game, or even if they'd had a couple of more championship runs before they met maybe a Galway or a Kilkenny, that they could have gotten something out of it and maybe pushed to the knockout stages. But I think positives from Clare Camogie, and if they can stick with Ger O'Connell and the management team, there is a bright future there for them.
Yeah, seem to have a crew coming through all right. And as you said, I often find maybe in women's sport that they dispense with managements very, very quickly. It's his 3rd year, but I think COVID has played a factor as well. Didn't really get a run at it last year. Again, this year, the way things have just been condensed, and then that group of death, as you mentioned, maybe, we're appealing to Clare County Board, maybe stick with Ger, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a massive lesson for Camogie County Boards all over the country. If you look at the successful teams, Cahill has been around Galway Camogie for a long number of years. Paddy Murray is in Cork a long number of years. Brian Dowling, all right, in his 2nd year as management, but was there with Anne Downey previously, Bill Mullaney now in Tipperary, and they're all counties that they're at the top table, are making strides certainly to get to the top table. I think you need that consistency. I think at least a 3 to 5 year plan for a lot of management going in, and as you said, a COVID disrupted year last year, a little bit this year in preparation for league and stuff as well. You feel if Ger could get a good run at a league and championship campaign, that this Clare team could certainly cause a few upsets along the way.
We wait and see. They of course have Westmeath next weekend, and it is Galway against Kilkenny in this Group 3. Let's just quickly have a look at the scores of the day then, Elaine. Group 1, Wexford 4-10, Offaly 15 points. Wexford have now qualified for the knockout stages, and unless Limerick cause some sort, and you would have to feel it would be an upset against Tipperary tomorrow, it looks like these groups are all going to be done and sorted this weekend. That's a fine win for Wexford over Offaly. Yeah, massive win for them, and I suppose hurting still a little bit from their league campaign, where they didn't quite maybe reach the aspirations that they had, and still in Division 2 league, would have hoped to get back up to Division 1, but they've certainly seemed to carry a bit of that hurt into them, and a great win last weekend would have buoyed them on with that last minute goal from Chloe Fox, and they would have been in fine form going into today's game. So another great win for them today, and they'll be a threat to anyone in the championship. looking at Group 2, Cork won 13, down 10 points, and Waterford lead Dublin at half time by 2-10-7. But I believe there's been an injury to Shabelle Harney. That could be a significant negative for Waterford if they are to advance, because Harney has really jumped forward in the last couple of seasons as a really tough defender. But they look like they're on the way to a win there against Dublin. So that's a bit of a turnaround for Waterford in the last week, isn't it, really?
Yeah, certainly 2 massive games for them in the last week, and I felt the Down game last weekend was a huge win for them, because Down were a team I would have tipped coming up. I thought they had great momentum behind them, had some real standout players, and Waterford obviously haven't had the poor league campaign that they did, ultimately getting relegated against Dublin. So I suppose they've carried some of that hurt to Dublin today, and we'll be anxious to make amends for that. But Waterford have been thereabouts the last couple of years, and no more than anyone else, I suppose. New management team in this year, hit by COVID, then recovery, got real no chance. Had to go out against Tip the first day in the league. Tip already had the benefit of a game against Cork their first day out. Waterford went out probably a little bit cold into that game, beaten, and then they had the inevitable task of going to Cork to beat them to stay in the league, and then ultimately a relegation final, straight knockout final. So probably a little bit of a rough draw on them in the league, and I'm sure hit them for 6 back in the league, but they've obviously regrouped strongly since then, and huge result last weekend, and now on track for another one this weekend. So they'll be a threat again to anyone in the championship.
Yeah, we won't preempt maybe what happens with regards to next week. Of course, Cork and Waterford, if that result sticks, they'll have qualified, and then Down and Dublin are effectively playing to keep out of relegation. Moving on then to Group 3, all done and dusted ultimately, with Kilkenny and Galway advancing there. Just a word on Kilkenny. Westmeath definitely put it up to them, and with 10 minutes gone in the second half, Kilkenny were still behind, but some of the I wouldn't call them elder states women, but ones that have been around with plenty of experience, seemed to kind of drive that over the line, and got out with a good win there.
Yeah, it seemed to be a Marion Welsh goal, followed by a couple of Denise Gall frees then that really pushed the game beyond Westmeath, I suppose. But again, I suppose Kilkenny carrying the form maybe from the league, where they stuttered and started and managed to get to a league final and managed to get a result there. So the championship seems to have started a little bit like that against them. They wouldn't have been overly impressive last weekend against Clare, and credit to Clare, if they defended the way they did here today. That would have attributed to that, obviously. But again, Westmeath seemed to have put it up to them for a long stages today. But as Kilkenny do, they managed to find a way to get out, and I think they were 9 points winners in the end. So, even when it looks down and out for Kilkenny, they seem to find a way, and that's kind of been a trait of this Kilkenny team for the league and championship so far this year. So, a huge game next weekend now in Kilkenny against Galway. As you said, both of them already qualified, so be interesting to see what way that game goes.
Yeah, because they could be seeing each other later on down the tracks. I'm just wondering what kind of chess play will work itself out between Brian Dowling and Colin Murray in the next week. Finally then, it's Tip and Limerick tomorrow. Has the pretense to be a bit of a game, a bit of a cracker. Munster rivals. Limerick would feel, that things have turned upwardly for them. Got caught on the line last week. They probably want to feel that they can come out, and they tested Kilkenny in the league, obviously, that they can live with the top 3 on occasion. That might then, if they were to turn it over tomorrow, would liven up that group obviously incredibly, and you could see Wexford topping that table all of a sudden. Yeah,
it certainly would open up things, and look, you couldn't disregard it from Limerick. I was so impressed with them when they played Kilkenny in the league up in Bar, and a game they really should have won and deserved to win on that occasion, and they didn't get the result. Probably a little bit disappointing last weekend to be caught on the line like that, and I thought they would have seen that game out and then been in a really strong position going to Tipperary tomorrow. Tip on the other hand had a nice win last weekend against Offaly and seemed to be motoring nicely as they did in the league. Obviously still hurting from that league semi-final, I would imagine, because as I said, they should have probably beaten Kilkenny on that occasion as well and got themselves back to a league final. So I think there's real ambitions in Tipperary tomorrow, but I wouldn't discount Limerick to cause a bit of an upset.
Well, we'll be there in McDonagh Park in Nina for that clash between Tipperary and Limerick. Elaine will be back on duty with me again. I don't know if I'll have the crew that are behind me today, but Luke, Owen and David have pulled all the strings here in Kenny Park in Athenry for us today on what is a glorious evening out west here with a nice breeze. But I have to say, it might be worth hanging around for a 99 in Athenry, will it, Elaine?
We might hit an old Supermax there at some stage.
There's a plug in itself. But there you go. That's our coverage then for Kenny Park in Athenry, where on the scoreboards it says Galway 2-12, Clare 2-6. That's all that matters, of course, because they have advanced to the knockout stages. Clare, well, they take on Westmeath, and well, we know the consequence of that. Win and you remain senior, lose, well, then you're in the hands of the gods with the relegation battle that might pretend out of that. But with my thanks to Elaine, to Luke, Owen and David in the background, we'll talk to you from McDonagh Park in Nina tomorrow afternoon. Good luck to you.